How y'all doing? This is Kenny from the Walking Dead game. Well, actually, it's Gavin Hammond. I played him in the game, but it's not important. The important thing is you're listening to The Gaming Outsider.
What's happening, Gaming Outsiders? On this week's episode, Alyssa, Zack, and I are doing our monthly ritual of answering questions from the community as shared on social media. In news, the first trailer for the Fallout series on Amazon piqued our interest, and Sony has some unfortunate news for those of us who are all about digital media. New games discussed include Zen Studios' latest entry in the world of pinball called Pinball M. You'll also hear my impressions of Dave the Diver, and Alyssa played a Japanese game called Noctuary. We also have Mark Szymanski and CJ Moore stopping by to tell us about the demo for a horror game called Luto and a party game called This Means Warp. This is The Gaming Outsider. This episode of The Gaming Outsider is brought to you by eWin Racing, the home of the best heavy-duty gaming chairs. You've probably heard me talk about my gaming chair, which is genuinely the most comfortable chair I've sat in at my desk. Now is the perfect opportunity to get your hands on one, because there is a 20% off sale going on right now, site-wide at ewinracing.com. And don't forget to use our promo code TGO at checkout to get 20% off as well. Believe me when I say you won't be disappointed. The quality is incredible, and they'll hook you up with a size that is just right for you. eWin Racing, the best gaming chairs out there. Greetings, programs, and welcome to The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com. We also have a community at facebook.com/groups/thegocast, and even a Discord server, which you can find a link for in the show notes. It is Sunday, December 2nd. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends. First off, Mr. Zack Parkerson. What's up, man?
How the hell are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Very tired, but I'm doing all right. And also joining us, Miss Alyssa White. How are you?
I'm alive.
You're alive.
Woo!
Great. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
No, you guys will perk me. You'll bring me back. You'll bring me back up.
Hopefully. Unfortunately, CB is not able to join us. He was out sick last week, and this week he is working. So we are CB-less once again, but we miss you, buddy.
We do miss you.
Sure. Yeah, we definitely miss you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's true.
I got a story to tell you guys really quick, and it is video game related. So you know how I have been fervishly trying to finish my NES collection?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I am officially down to one cartridge left.
What?
One cartridge left, except for, like, I'm not getting Stadium events. I'm not getting the 3 unlicensed games with nudity in them, and the Caltron 6-in-1 and Cheetah Man 2.
Why don't you want the nudity?
Because they're $2,000 each, and
Oh my God. Yeah.
I just, I don't have 18,000 laying around for a copy of Stadium events, and anyway, so I finally found a copy of the last game. It's this weird game. It's a third party unlicensed game called Big Nose Freaks Out. It's a gold cartridge. It's an unlicensed game. I've been looking and looking, could not find a good price for it. I finally found a good price for it online. Ordered it, and they sent it to me in the mail, and they sent me the wrong game.
Oh, no.
Wow, how did that happen?
Well, so it's weird. There's actually 2 versions of Big Nose Freaks Out. One is the Aladdin version that comes with it's like a half cartridge that you stick into that Aladdin. It's like a peripheral, and that's not the one I wanted. It was the actual gold cartridge. So I had to contact their customer service, and they weren't responding. And I finally got a hold of somebody, and they said, "Well, send us a picture of what we sent you at this number. Text it to us." I'm like, "What?" I've never had to text pictures before.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
I'd be getting sketchy vibes.
So no, it was all good. Actually, last night they contacted me and they sent me a shipping label and said, "Yeah, our department, our claims department or whatever, said that this was legit, and here's a shipping label to send it back to us. We'll refund you." Blah blah blah. So I'm on the hunt.
Okay, so they don't actually have the game you needed at the end of the day.
Unfortunately.
Did they have a picture of it on their website or whatever? And
they did. That was, and I actually took a screenshot of my
smart.
order that says this. Had a picture of the gold cartridge, not the half cartridge. So, yeah, it was kind of interesting. But
that sucks because you almost
one
had to
away.
sell it. You were probably opening, your hands are shaking. It's finally over, and then it's the wrong cartridge. And
Yep. I was all
deflated.
excited to put it on my shelf and have a picture to send everybody and be like, "Guys, it's done." Because if you remember, that was one of my New Year's resolutions, was to finish the collection at the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't think this is your fault. These people got in the way of your
That was not
resolution.
your fault.
I know. I've been looking at another copy. There's a copy on eBay. Guy's asking way too much, and it's got those rental stickers all over it. You know, those ones that have like the metal strip in it, and I don't know if I'll be able to get that off without damaging the label, and I don't know. So I'm looking forward to it being done, though.
I was gonna say, don't phone it in on the last game. You know, make sure it's
I know.
the one you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird because it's not like a super expensive one. It's only about $140 or something.
Okay.
It's not like a crazy, you know, not like little Samson.
Right.
But anyway, it is. It's almost there. I'm just really looking forward to being done with it. And then I'm going to like remove myself from every Facebook group for collectors because I'm tired of getting the notifications. I feel like it's going to be
Are they going to be sad to see you go?
They don't know who I am. I'm not like...
Yeah, these groups have like thousands of people in them.
Thousands of
I don't
people.
know.
Yeah.
And
plus, like, I'm more
Scott
of a
Clark,
lurker.
right? Of the Gaming Outside.
That's true.
Right. But I don't make myself present in there unless I need something, which is, you know, once in a while I'll put my list and say, hey, anybody got some of these? I've actually bought some games from people that way. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that being done. People keep asking me, so you going to go for Super Nintendo next? Hell no. I'm done, dude. I'm tired of the chase, honestly.
I was saying, are you excited or are you relieved right now?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. You know,
Man.
New Year's resolution and just, I mean, this has been 15 years that I've been doing this. So,
Is that right?
Yeah. So
It's like a chapter of your life is being closed.
I know, man. And I really didn't think I was going to be able to do it. I actually gave up like something like 5 years ago. I sold 5 of my really expensive games to CB to help him finish his collection. Because I was like, dude, I'm never going to spend $2,000 on Little Samson. And here we are. So,
man, so he got quite a deal, I assume.
Oh, yeah. He made out like a bandit. So I bought him twice and grossly overpaid for. He paid like $850 for his copy of Little Samson. I paid $2,700.
Oh my god, dude!
Yeah, it's nuts.
$2,000 more.
And now it's only worth like $2,400. So you know, the market's gonna collapse, and I'm gonna be like, that's all right. I'm done. I'll wait for it to bounce back up in another 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I hope it collapses. No offense to you.
Come on,
it's a bad time out there.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about the games we've been catching up on. Zach, let's start with you.
Sure. I've been playing. I've been not wanting to bring this up. I've been playing Red Dead Online since before Halloween. And I've been checking in every day to do at least one daily because you get like gold bar multipliers or premium currency. And now I just play it pretty routinely. But it's so weird, Red Dead Online, that I felt like I needed to talk about it because, you know, it came out 4 years ago now because it came out after Red Dead 2. It came out in 1.0, and they haven't added any story since then. Like it has like an online storyline like Grand Theft Auto Online did.
Yeah.
But this one just you basically have to get revenge against these 4 people. You get revenge against the first one, and then they're like, yeah, we'll contact you later. We got to track down the other 3. And then it's been 4 years and they've just never done that.
That's they don't need to.
Because I think Grand Theft Auto, right, is just
they
makes so much money.
Red Dead on the back burner.
Yeah, but I didn't realize how on the back burner it was. I guess because they don't even do battle passes or anything for it. It's just like it's like in maintenance mode already, which is crazy. Because you think about how much Red Dead is sold. Surely people are playing it. It's never hard to find a game, but it's a fun online mode. But it makes all the animations are like double the speed as a single player campaign, so it's really weird to get used to.
I bet. I mean, yeah, the original base game of what I played it for, it was very slow paced.
Yes, this is much faster and it's funny because like you don't even holster your guns; they just like slap onto your body, and it's obvious they're just like trying to cut out all the frames they can to make it faster.
Right.
And I just think it's really funny to see. And then when you like loot bodies, you just kind of like tap them on their, just like tap the body on, but it, like Arthur goes through their pockets and stuff. So it's just like a totally different vibe. But you can do all kinds of fun stuff. Like I have a trading company. I'm saving up to buy my first moonshine shack so I can be a moonshiner.
Oh, fancy.
Nice.
I do a lot of bounty hunting, of course, because I just want to be a bounty hunter. Every day I log on, I do one bounty with my cool lady. She's all geared up in Halloween stuff from the Halloween event. I got like I got like a spider web shotgun. It's got like spiders and cobwebs all over it, and I got this shirt that's stained with blood because I'm cool, obviously.
Well, yeah. Hella cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw a video online, by the way, where somebody like took a stick of dynamite or something and threw it right before a cutscene started.
Yeah.
And the woman who was in the cutscene like caught on fire, right at the split second that the cutscene started.
Uh-huh.
So like when she's doing like the cutscene, she is like mangled and an arm is missing. She looks like one of the ghouls from Fallout.
That's awesome.
I just thought it was freaking fantastic.
That's the joy of real-time cutscenes, though, right?
Yeah.
That's good. That's great. Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. I made a friend.
Aw.
This dude from China.
That's
because
cool.
It was really funny because we're online at the same time. But he sent me a message. He's like, "Where are you?" He's like, "Do you live in China?" I was like, "No, I live in Oregon with very strange hours." Because when most people, most Americans are in bed, I'm wide awake at 4 a.m. So it's really funny. We've done some playing. We've done some story missions here and there.
That's cool.
And there's just like a lot of neat stuff. Like they just occasionally have like fishing tournaments where everybody just goes to the lake together to fish. I don't know. I think it's a neat little game, but it is just very different. And it's kind of cool because it takes place a year before the campaign, so you can run into characters before then.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what do you know his name?
No, I don't. Like,
oh, okay.
No.
You give him a shout out. In case he's listening, because of course you told him about the Gaming Outsider.
Right, obviously, yeah. Even though, through his broken English and my, not even attempting Chinese, I really got into it. I'm like, hey, have you heard of the Gaming Outsider? He's like, oh my God, it's my favorite podcast. He's like, I'm actually a patron.
Your Russian didn't help.
My Russian did not help speak Chinese, turns out. That's funny.
Well, cool, man. I did not expect to hear you playing an online game, but it makes sense that it's Red Dead.
Yeah.
Play with.
Well, I feel like I always heard that it was hard to get the gold bar as a premium currency or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you get a multiplayer or multiplier over time, over the course of a month if you do your dailies.
So it just compounds.
Yeah, and you just like by the end of it, the multiplier is so large that I'm like, dude, I'm just racking up gold bars left and right. Like I don't know what to do with them sometimes.
Nice.
So
I saw did we talk about this already? Somebody like maxed out the gold that you can get in the base game, like in the coffers or whatever in like your base camp, and then you still go up to what is his name, Arthur, and he's like, we got to get more money.
Oh, you mean Dutch? Go up to Dutch?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, he's like, we got to get to Tahiti. It's like, dude, I can pay the whole way, man. So worries.
Yeah. We'll get it. We'll take a cruise. Let's go, everybody.
Just take our time, man. It's no problem. That's funny.
What else have you been playing?
Okay. I have a lot to say here. All right. I've played Assassin's Creed Mirage. Everybody buckle in.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, because I think I keep doing that, Alyssa. So Assassin's Creed Mirage I played because of your guys' recommendations. Because it's so much more stealth focused, and it is, but it's a very difficult game. I feel like it was hard to get into the groove at first because it doesn't control at all like the old games. It controls like the RPG ones, like Origins, Odyssey.
I would say
Valhalla.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, he's just Basim is like wiry. It's like a very looser, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot hard to be more precise, at least for me. And I'm adjusting to it now, but it is very obvious they were asking an RPG engine to be a stealth game to me. But I do like, the assassinations are one-hit kills, thank God. I feel like that was made Odyssey insufferable. That you couldn't do that to every enemy. It was based on your
frustrating.
gear. Yeah. It makes no sense with a game with assassin in the title.
Mm-hmm.
And
you're not going to assassin. You're just going to puncture a couple times and
stab multiple times before they die.
Annoying Creed.
Yes, there you go. But I do. The overall vibe of the game is great. It is very Assassin's Creed 1 vibes, where it's more ancient Middle East. Obviously, this is like 300 years before Assassin's Creed 1, but you got your single hidden blade, not even dual hidden blades, which is cool. You're dipping feathers and bloods for your assassin targets. I like the Basim story. I like how he's being haunted by this jinn in his dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume that'll be tied into the sci-fi nonsense of the franchise.
I just love his motivation. Like, I feel like the angle they took for him getting into the Brotherhood was an interesting way.
Like what, by wanting to make a difference kind of thing, or
Well, just like he knew about them and wanted to be recruited. Like he was trying to sell himself to be a member.
And he kept doing like these odds and ends for them and stuff.
Yeah, like everybody else is like kind of just fell into it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Especially Ezio, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they sought it out. He is fully aware of it and wants to do everything he can to get. I don't know. I just think it's interesting how they take a different angle to get these guys in the Creed.
I think that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, the investigation board is weird because at least from what I'm playing, it really just feels like you can only do everything one way anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like to get to the target. So it's just kind of like this. Like you may as well have just made it mission structure. Like you're just dressing up a quest list basically. But when I got my first assassination, I was actually pretty impressed because there's like 5 or 6 different ways you could do it, which is actually a little bit more complex than the old stealth-focused Assassin's Creed, because a lot of those were, you could either go in loud or you could follow this set straight path to get.
I remember Unity being that way too. Like where
is that right?
Where you could just like there was different either ways to get in or ways to go about doing it. Yeah,
I had a game-breaking bug in that stopped all my progress right after I became an assassin in the storyline, so I never got there.
Oh,
that sucks.
Yeah, but I should replay that. However, it was great. It's just like I can sneak in there and do it the different way. There's the memory corridors are back. That was very exciting because even those I felt like those weren't always a guarantee in the old Assassin's Creeds. Ezio's were always so short. You just like rescue Escott and Pace and then left. But you're actually having a little bit of the back and forth philosophy here. It's cool.
Yeah.
And I like, the notoriety system for the old games is back. So it is definitely aimed at classic fans, but I think it's a little compromised because of all the Valhalla stuff. Like there's loot chests everywhere, but they really just give you money. Yeah. But it's like the game is just some of the level design editor is like, well, yeah, it just auto generates chests, like I guess we got to do something with them.
Yeah, but there's also like 4 different types of currency, I feel like too. Isn't there like tokens that you can get?
Right. Way too complicated.
Yeah.
They had to like bribe merchants and stuff. I guess it's just trying to make you do side quests.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm not going to do this. The side quests are boring as hell so far. I tried doing 2 of them. I was like, no more. I'm not doing any more of these.
It's really difficult for me to just straight line an Assassin's Creed game. You understand?
No, yeah, I do. But I don't feel like the collectibles aren't very exciting though.
Yeah.
I do like the historical sites. I'm learning a lot about, ancient Iraq. I had no idea that China was such a major influence of old Iraq. Yeah. So that's cool. And I do like Basim, although Roshan is way cooler, your mentor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Dude,
sounds like she's been smoking since she was
12
11.
packs a day.
Absolutely, man. I want to play as her. She's way cooler.
Way cooler.
Yeah, like she's awesome. But I'm liking the story so far. I was definitely more touch and go earlier on because it was just the controls were just very difficult to adjust to. Although I changed all of my button bindings so it basically just plays like Assassin's Creed 1 now.
I should probably do that. I'm tired of fighting or attacking with the RB button.
Oh yeah,
I have forgotten the controls by now, so I'll probably do that when I go back into it.
I got light attack on square and heavy attack on hold square, just like Assassin's Creed 2 intended. My right trigger for sprinting, hold on X to free run. All the good stuff.
Why did they change that? Felt great.
I thought it was weird that because this game is such, has obviously a love letter to AC1 in many ways, including they have a filter that makes it look like the washed out blue grays of the original game. I'm like, you guys didn't think to include a control preset though for classic controls? It's kind of weird. And I do want to say CB is crazy. The teleporting assassination thing is a forced tutorial. There's no way to get around it. You have to do it after your first assassination.
I didn't get to my first assassination. So
I haven't either.
Yeah, well,
clearly he didn't get that far.
I assume Scott didn't because he has to do every collectible on the map before he can allow himself to assassinate anybody. But the shame of the teleporting thing is like it's goofy in the context of Assassin's Creed, but it actually feels a lot like the Merc and Execute from the old Splinter Cell Conviction and Blacklist.
Oh, okay.
So it's also very fun to use. So I'm quite conflicted. The bird though sucks. I hate that thing.
I don't like the bird either, and I don't understand.
I've never liked the birds in any of the AC games that they've been featured in.
It
I like the bird in the Primal. What was the Far Cry game? Far Cry Primal.
Yeah, that feels like it would fit the vibe, the setting. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. here it's just like it's so weird.
And I don't understand how to mark stuff correctly. I feel like I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, I know there's a bunch of upgrades that make it easier, maybe.
Yeah, but
because there's a great skill tree.
Your favorite.
Yeah. What's a shame is all the upgrades I actually do want are all behind the bird tree, so I got to get all these bird upgrades I don't care about, so I can get to the one where it's like there's one where it'll auto target, it'll auto mark all enemies when you're crouched and you see them, so it'll just be on your screen that way. I'm like, that seems like the best upgrade in the game, but I got to get through all these bird upgrades to get to it. Why? It has nothing to do with the bird.
Mm-hmm.
Or
they're trying to force the bird on you.
Yeah, they do every 5 seconds. Like, hey, don't forget you can call your bird if you want to check out recon. Like, I'm in the building. I am in the building with the target. They're like, hey, are you sure you don't want to check it out though? A little recon with the bird. Very frustrating. And every 5 seconds, like, hey, don't forget you can upgrade your tools. I'm like, why? What? In what world do I need to use any tools even?
I don't know what the tool. Are you talking like weapons?
Like smoke bombs and throwing knives? The throwing knives are useful, but that's
throwing knives are, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they're more useful here than they were in even past games.
I think so, definitely. It's almost, it's like they're woven into the gameplay structure a little bit. Because you can take out a marksman that way and kill a guy on the ground. I don't know. Yeah, so I guess overall I am digging it, but it does feel like every time I'm enjoying it, some of that little RPG stuff comes sniffing around. And
how do you like the fact that you can like poison a guy with acid and he just dissolves into nothing instantly?
Oh man, I haven't done that. That's awesome.
Like
that sounds really cool.
Are they darts? I can't remember what they are. They like he has poison darts, right? In the previous games.
Yeah, well, I guess you do it for like making people go insane and stuff.
Yeah, make them go insane or make them fall asleep or whatever.
Yeah,
you've got ones that are just straight up like acid,
and they
throw it from afar, and they fall over dead, and then they just kind of go to the video game, like disappear into nothingness thing.
Oh well, it seems after every major quest you can pick one tool to unlock in the wheel, and I have not picked those out yet, but now I kind of want to. I want to dissolve human beings.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that is really awesome.
I do like that you can hide bodies. You couldn't do that in Assassin's Creed 2.
You couldn't? Then that happened to like 3 or 4?
Yeah, it was later.
I guess
it might have even been Brotherhood, honestly. But 2, I remember because all the time you would kill a guy on the roof, and you would see him just slowly slope off the roof. You're like, no! You couldn't do anything about it.
Find me.
Yeah, but here
like,
you can
you're not out for his like health and safety. You just don't want to get made.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like trying to sneak up on this guy. But I think I'll obviously beat Mirage, and it makes me want to go back and replay the old ones and play especially Unity and Syndicate, because I never properly played those or beat them.
I beat a Assassin's Creed game. You haven't? That's nuts.
Guess so. Well, Unity didn't let me beat it, and I wasn't going to replay the first 6 hours.
Right.
Because I was still I was still foolish and young and trying to do things on the map back then.
When you play Syndicate, let me know how you feel about the carriage missions. I freaking hated those.
Oh yeah,
like they force you to do these, where you have to go through town with a carriage at top speed, and I hated them so much.
There's like World War I sections of that game, right?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that sounds cool as hell.
That was pretty cool.
I think a World War II Assassin's Creed in like occupied France or something, Germany.
Mm-hmm.
It would be awesome.
That would be awesome. All right, well, I want to talk about quickly. I talked about Super Mario RPG last week, which I beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of our listeners, Asai Munoz, messaged me and he's like, "Dude, have you done the bonus stuff yet in Super Mario RPG?" And I was like, "Oh, you mean like find the sealed door and find the casino and all that kind of stuff that I did back on the Super?" And he's like, "No, there's something extra that you can do." And he kind of he said, "Just start a new game." So you start a new game, not a new game. It's like continuing where you left off. So after you beat the game, the adventure still continues, basically. So the game restarts back in Mario's pad, and Toad comes up to you and basically gives you some directions to go somewhere. And you go somewhere, and it opens up something pretty awesome that increases the difficulty spike in a very fun and interesting way. I don't want to spoil it too much. I'll give you more details when we're off air. And the only reason I'm being cagey about it, I know we just got done talking about spoilers on a previous episode, but Isai was
came. Well, this is new stuff, right, for the remake?
Yeah.
So.
And he was being very, like, when he told me about it, he was being very careful about not saying what happened. He just thought it was really cool. And when I got there, I was like, this is actually pretty rad. So I know you won't care, Zach, because it's not. It is story related, but not really story related. But
I mean, I might still care. I do like gameplay.
I know it's just they do something really, really clever, and I have not completed it at all. But
do you go to Midgar?
No, that would be amazing.
That would be pretty cool.
No, it's just it's cool that they pack something else bonus into this instead of just I mean it because it is really a coat of paint with some new mechanics in the battle stuff. But I thought that was really cool that they gave you a little something bonus, completely new that you've not done before. What you have done before, I'll explain later.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. So I have not completed all of that, but I don't know what you get. Like what with RPGs, when you have stuff like that, I feel like completing it is the reward. So if I get like a new, weapon or armor or something like that, oh, thanks. I don't have anybody else to take care of, but I don't know. So yeah, Super Mario RPG is the gift that keeps on giving, apparently. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. What do you guys say?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? That's what we normally do, right?
Yep, that's what we do.
All right, the biggest trailer that dropped this week was the, not even a game, but a series based on a game. Fallout on Amazon Prime is coming out in April of 2024. Got a trailer for that. Also, Atari 50 is getting some new content. PlayStation users are losing a ton of TV content that they purchased. Capcom says that they are indeed remaking more Resident Evil games. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. And lastly, Phil Spencer says that improvements to Xbox achievements could be coming in the future. Alyssa, what would you like to talk about?
Let's talk about PlayStation doing something else we don't like. I'm sorry if you were going to take this, Zach, but
no, it's good. I just, this is where the anti-PlayStation podcast. Now.
I know.
Yeah,
no, I'm the bad guy now. PlayStation users are losing a ton of TV content that they purchased. Hundreds of Discovery TV shows will no longer be available on PlayStation platforms, even if you've purchased them. From Sony, as of the 31st of December 2023, due to our content licensing arrangements with content providers, you will no longer be able to watch any of your previously purchased Discovery content, and the content will be removed from your video library. Discovery did merge with Warner Brothers recently, so it's possible this could change down the road, but it definitely puts a damper on the all-digital future.
Yeah, this one's not making me look like the smart one here in terms of going all digital, but
well, yeah, I mean, this is a pretty strong argument for physical, right?
Yeah,
totally.
Because this could happen at any service at any time.
I mean, all you gotta do is keep your PlayStation on, not connected to the internet for as long as you want to watch those shows, right?
Is that the reasonable answer?
I don't know. I sound like an apologist. I sound like a person that is just championing this. But I mean, honestly, even though I'm buying these games digital, I don't really purchase film or TV content because there's just so much available for streaming. I don't feel like the need to own media anymore to watch because there's just always something to watch.
Well, why do you buy your games? Why don't you just play on Game Pass?
Because not everything that I want is on Game Pass. And yes, I know you're going to say not everything is on Netflix or Hulu or anything like that, but there's enough on Netflix and Hulu to keep me satiated. I am more of a gamer than I am a movie and TV show aficionado, so
understood.
I want the freedom to choose what I want. But even with games, though, when I purchase a game, even though I'm clicking a button that says purchase, I never, in my mind, say purchase. In my mind, I'm just paying for an expensive rental.
A $70 rental?
A $70 long-term rental. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So now, granted, I don't purchase TV shows like these, but, I fully expect to lose a lot of access to games that I've purchased on Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. I just kind of assume that's the name of the game. Is it going to be a bummer? Sure, but I'm never going to be lacking playing something. You know what I mean? I think the thing that makes me the stupidest is that I keep buying stuff on sale with the intention of going back and playing it someday.
Yeah.
Because
I do
that's
that
going to
too.
happen. I almost bought. I didn't, thankfully, because the sale ended. I almost bought the Bayonetta Vanquish bundle,
Oh
like
yeah.
the remastered bundle, because it was on sale for $10, and I was like, yeah, I'll play that someday. Thankfully, the sale ended, and I didn't have the temptation anymore. But you know, so I basically I'm just giving money, and if they eventually take it away, then I just donated money to the cause. You know what I mean?
To the corporate cause.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm the idiot here.
They need your help. Yeah, well, at least you're self-aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, I'm like, this is just unfortunately wasn't too surprising. I guess they can take anything away at any time.
Sure.
You know, it's just the reality of the situation. Not surprising. This is coming from Discovery, who seems to not know how to run a business right now. I don't know what's going on. It's as though their CEO is trying to get fired. Like he's like trying to activate his golden parachute clause or something. The way they're operating, it's insane.
He's trying to pull a Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, dude, it's freaking nuts what's going on over there. But it's awfully courageous of him, though. For me, this sucks. This is weird. Like, I don't know why anybody would ever buy a movie or TV show through their video game console store.
I've always wondered that too, man. Like that does not seem the place to do it.
That is very strange to me. Unless I remember I bought Afro Samurai on 360 because I had leftover points. That's the only time I ever did that. And so I guess that's the only thing I can think of. But like, who's buying a single episode of what does Discovery have? I don't know. Discovery Earth, one episode at a time. Who's doing that?
I don't even know what's on Discovery. Like honestly,
it's a lot of travel shows and history shows and
who's buying that stuff anyway? Like I understand. Again, I know I'm not that target market, but I just those shows are shows that I feel like maybe I'm totally off base. But those are shows that I feel like, I'm going to have on in the background or I'm going to see what's on the travel channel.
Yeah.
I'm not going to like make a point to go watch the show, but I
and also they just don't seem like episodes that you'd want to rewatch.
Yeah.
Like you watch it one time and it's enough.
Kind of like disposable content to me. I don't want to shout out to the people that make that stuff. And, if people love rewatching it, great for you. But to me, I'm just like, I feel like if I watch the history of this volcanic island once, I'm probably good forever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, this is terrible. Hopefully this gets more people to realize that physical is important and that it is worth the fight, because this could, if it can happen to your TV shows, it can happen to your video games. And if you have the self-awareness of Scott Clark to say, yeah, this is just part of the gamble, I guess that's good, but I'd rather just have the disc and be able to play. If I want to play Skull Island Rise of Kong 5 years from now, I'll always I can always have that option if I have the disc.
That's
true.
But
you won't be able to play Alan Wake too, right?
See, they could take out Epic sells to another company and that company decides they don't want to be on PlayStation anymore. There's my copy of Alan Wake 2 gone forever.
Yeah, if Embracer decides they want to shut down another developer.
Who knows, right? Yeah. It's just a sad, unfortunate reality, but this is the future that they want, and the more that everyone is okay with it, the happier they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, just sucks. Talked about
it does suck,
but I really
this
is an instance where I'm choosing not to blame PlayStation. I blame Discovery more than them, because I can see the reality of current Discovery, trying to make up all this money, being like, well, it's going to cost it's going to cost triple the amount to renew your license. The PlayStation going like, for the 4 people that own the Discovery, the volcanic island show, I don't think so.
Or like the 2 people that have all 100 seasons of Naked and Afraid.
Right.
I don't know if there's not that many seasons, but there's been a lot.
They're not even really naked, Let's see that dong if you're going to be in that show.
It's pixelated.
Alyssa knows because she checked it out.
Right.
No, my dad watches it a lot, and it's on the TV, and I get stuck having to look at the screen sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what they all say.
Yeah, we believe you.
Definitely. But yeah, this sucks. I don't know what else to really say. This is the thing I always warn against, right? And here it is happening. And Scott's reaction is, well, that sucks, I guess. Anyway.
Yeah. I got plenty to play. What news story do you want to talk about, Zach?
I mean, man, there's a few actually. I kind of like.
I know, right?
These. But I'm sorry, like the Fallout TV show, it looks awesome.
It does.
Right? I was
Like-
I really thought you were gonna come in and be like, "This looks terrible." I'm like, it looks great.
Dude, it
looks
looks
so good.
Great. Walton Goggins as a ghoul bounty hunter. Are you kidding? I want that show. I just want that show. I
Yeah,
don't need anything else.
Yeah.
I think it looks great.
yeah. That's how
like-
you get Aaron Peterson to watch a video game based show. Is put Walton Goggins in it.
Well, Air Peace with the Hollywood Outsider.
Yes,
That's
Hey,
man
Walton.
crush.
Boyd Crowder, man, he's great. Yeah,
I need to go back and watch that
I thought
show
the
again.
Brotherhood of Steel, armor looked great.
And the ship, the Brotherhood of Steel ship, like airship thing.
Yeah. Or I mean, the vault all looked true. It looked like they really
Yeah.
cared about the video game. The ghouls look a little less freakish. But that's probably because you don't hire Walt Goggin and then completely bury him in makeup.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But everything else, and I respected that they actually acknowledged game creator Todd Howard,
right.
even
yeah.
though he did
no,
not.
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't create Fallout, and also it's funny that he's getting the credit. But it should say Brian Fargo, really, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But anyway, but it is still cool that they're acknowledging it, because if you remember all of the Last of Us marketing, you wouldn't have known it was based on a game unless you knew.
Right.
Like they were afraid to acknowledge
Yeah, they
it.
put Neil Druckmann in very small letters in the
Yeah,
credits.
Right, but it wasn't like it wasn't from the hit PlayStation game. I don't know. It felt like we were being respected here, and I thought it looked great. I might have to subscribe to Prime for this bad boy.
I'm so amped. Like I was amped, and I've been wanting a Fallout television show for long enough anyway. Because I've always said in the past that I think Fallout would make a better TV show than a movie. There's too much possible stories to tell.
Right. Well,
You
like
know what I mean?
the video games feel episodic already with the way the side
Mhm.
quests are structured and stuff. Yeah.
Right. I really hope that they do what the games do and just start in the vault and don't let them get out of the vault for like 2 episodes. I know that would be like a bold thing for them to do.
Well, it looks like don't mean to cut you off, but it looks like we're following a Vault Dweller, a Brotherhood of Steel soldier, and Walt Goggins. At least that's the vibe I got from the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be cool if she doesn't leave the vault for several episodes.
Right. Maybe that's the way to do it. Make keep
Yeah.
people interested that aren't familiar with the franchise. Have some stuff going on outside. I don't know. Just it looks so freaking cool.
It does.
Like just the look of it, in like you said, the power armor looks legit, man.
Right, it looks right out of the game,
Yeah.
and it even had a nice happy 50s tune during the trailer. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't wanted to go back and play like Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas more in a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, this is finally my excuse to play Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, that's right. You've never played
Yeah.
that one at all,
Yeah,
have you?
only I played it briefly.
I played through
But I
it once
played-
at release, and I remember so little of it. I remember it starting out and being a lot more difficult than Fallout 3 at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe I
I
just
played
went-
Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas back to back, so
Oh wow.
Fallout 3 eclipsed it for me because I was like so amazed with Fallout 3. I still enjoy New Vegas, but I'm like, this isn't the same. Probably should have spaced this out a little more.
Fallout 3 just had so many great quests, like the tree that was alive,
Mhm.
or I always the Republic of Dave. I always loved. This is one guy creating a sovereign nation within Washington D.C. Basically,
Yeah.
that was great.
There's a really interesting way that Vegas wraps up to the quest. There's a quest towards the end of the game that is like, what? It's pretty good.
Yeah,
That would be a fun one to go back and compare notes, because those games still hold up and they make them look prettier on Xbox now.
right. Yeah, and when I
Yeah.
played New Vegas, it was on PS3, which is just not the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Massive load times. It was the buggiest version. They have that all Bethesda style games had a weird like the longer you played it, the buggier the game got. Because
Oh yeah,
'Cause the
I
way
remember
they-
that was Skyrim on PS3. I couldn't
Yeah,
play it for
'cause-
6 months.
some to do with the way that memory storage works on PS3 for games that just it can't handle. Because Skyrim and stuff, they remember where all of your cheese wheels are, and the PS3 could not handle that.
It's really funny. But yeah, super amped. Can't wait for April. Holy cow.
Yeah, I'm happy we're all excited about it.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Does Amazon do week-to-week episodes, or did they release them all?
They have a weird schedule. Sometimes they do it once a week. Sometimes they release them all. Sometimes they release 2 episodes a week. So there's never a guarantee.
I feel like the most common one is they do 2 or 3 episodes the first week, and then it's weekly.
Okay.
They switch it up with all their shows, so it's kind of hard to know how it's going to be.
I hope there's a gap, though, because I really kind of like looking forward to a show each week. Like, I remember that, like, with The Mandalorian, being refreshed by, having something to look forward to, or WandaVision, and, those kinds of shows where instead of... And they don't have to worry about people that are, like, that have time to sit and binge the whole show in the first day.
Right.
I want to savor it a little bit.
Well, there's something like this week's episode of Lawman Bass Reeves had a huge cliffhanger. There's something exciting about, like, now I get to think about it. Where's this going to go? What's going to happen?
Mm-hmm. Instead of next episode, click.
Exactly. It takes that fun out of it.
It's fun to do that, after you've watched a show. Like I was talking about rewatching Stranger Things and how each episode ends on a cliffhanger, and I don't have to wait now, but
right.
I guess we didn't have to then either, because they released Stranger Things all in like at once.
Yeah, but Netflix cliffhangers are different because it's usually just in the middle of a scene because they know the next one's right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like edited in a way to get you to click the next episode right away.
Right. All right. I'm going to give you another story, Zach, because it sounded like you wanted to talk about another one.
Okay. I want to talk about the Xbox achievements improvements.
Wow.
Oh,
Did not expect that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Phil Spencer said, speaking of the future of the Xbox, there's a hardware roadmap, there's a service roadmap, maybe there's even a roadmap for improvements to Xbox achievements, which I know is something that you and many others care about. One such update could be games completed, which could be the equivalent to the PlayStation trophy system. I care about this because I don't care about my overall achievement score or my overall trophy level. The only thing I care about are platinums, and Xbox does not have an equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
And it is and just getting the last achievement and getting the 1,000 out of 1,000 or whatever, it's just nowhere near satisfying. Absolutely not. So I want a designated, like you've done everything in this game, dopamine hit, and Xbox lacks that for years now.
My question for that though is going to be, do you get the game completed achievement for just doing the 1,000, or do you get it for doing all the DLC as well?
This is an opportunity to one up PlayStation, and you could have different ones for doing each of those things.
That is interesting. I still think you should do different categories of games, games completed and DLCs completed.
Yeah, I think so. But I'm saying maybe you could do an achievement, like a platinum trophy equivalent where you get everything in the base game.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe, you get all the 100, all the achievements in each DLC, maybe get you another little tiny award next year on your game page for that game or whatever.
Or maybe you get like a diamond achievement for doing all the DLC.
Yeah, well, that's what a rare is.
And it makes that really loud noise that scares you, but you're also satisfied by hearing it at the same time.
Well, achievements are also, I like them better because on PlayStation it just pops up the trophy and the name of it, right? Well, when you get an achievement, it gives you the name of it, what you did to get it, and the percentage of people who have it. All that information right there, cleanly while you're playing. Love it.
Yeah, on PlayStation, I have to press the button to go into the trophy menu and see what it is.
And it pauses the game.
It's a little convoluted.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about the achievements, and I guess you can change this in the settings, is there's a lot of achievements in pinball, believe it or not. And the achievement logo pops up right over the flippers.
Right at the bottom there. Yeah, it would, But you can reposition that.
Yeah, I know. I just never do.
You can. Okay. I noticed it always pops up over the subtitles, and most of the games I play are in English. I can hear it just fine.
Oh, okay.
But I'm still like, I need my subtitles. And I'm like, now the achievement thing's over the subtitles. I didn't know you could reposition it. That's how stupid I am.
It is kind of an oversight. Why? Yeah, it shouldn't default to the bottom. They should know that that's where subtitles are.
Right. Should default to the.
That is an accessibility thing, to be honest. Like, even though I can hear it, doesn't mean other people can.
Right.
You probably wouldn't want to default it to the upper left or upper right either, because that's where like a HUD is going to be, right?
A health bar, but
yeah.
You can live without knowing your exact health for a 3-second period.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. If they do this and they don't retroactively give you credit for those, I'm going to be upset.
Come on, man. You just, Just take the exciting new future. Don't get disappointed over what you can't have.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it doesn't.
Excited
I've stopped chasing achievements, honestly, as much as I used to, mostly because CB is so competitive, and he just had to not only catch up to my score, but like just blow it out of the water.
Right.
It
He's
doesn't
ruined
feel
the
as
fun.
yeah, it's kind of ruined it for me. But what you play this week? Oh, I bought this $3 game that I got 1,000 achievements in 4 minutes. Was the game good? No, it was awful. But
worth every penny.
But I'm winning. So yeah, and you think about it, that outside of the rare achievement, has the achievement thing been updated much in like 10 years?
Don't think so.
Yeah, I do not believe so. But that might be for the best, because trophies did an update a year or two ago and made them worse. So you don't want that.
What do they do to make them worse?
Well, it used to be your trophy levels you would go up very slowly. So each time you leveled up, it was quite significant, Like if you were like level 30, you're like, holy crap. And you get to 31, you're like, man, I must have played 100 games to get to level 31. But now I'm like level 480 or something. Like it levels up. Every time I look at it, I'm leveled up. And I'm like, now it just kind of lost all meaning.
Aw, bad.
So it's not fun to chase the trophies in that way. That's why I had to now I only care about platinums, because those feel like they matter, whereas my trophy level it doesn't matter at all anymore.
Do you ever compare your level to anybody else?
No, it's just for me.
No, is it?
I guess I do game to game comparisons sometimes. Yeah, let's see. Scott played Assassin's Creed 2. Oh, well, I guess I got the platinum. He did, and I guess I'm just better at that.
I'm missing 2 feathers.
Yeah, isn't that frustrating?
2. Yeah, because that game, the only way to get all the feathers is to just start it all over and go see if you've got it. And the game doesn't do here's the invisible thing where the feather used to be, so you know you're in the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what, or I don't even know if it was feather or flags. I think it was flags.
Yeah, I think yeah. But they have flags and feathers in 2, right?
I think so. But dude, I printed out the map, and I had a screenshot of where every feather was, and I went through, and I don't know how I missed 1 or 2. Frustrated me so much.
Well, you know what's fun about achievements and trophies, because they're all time stamped, so it's like you're a little bit of history.
Oh yeah.
I was looking at my old PlayStation trophies for Assassin's Creed games because I was curious, and I did not get all the feathers like you said in Assassin's Creed 2. And I was like, oh damn, I remember getting them, but that was the only trophy I don't have in Assassin's Creed 2. But then I was checking my achievements on 360. I did get that achievement on 360, so I have all 1,000 achievements at Assassin's Creed 2 in the 360. But it's funny that so obviously I must have replayed it on PS3 and be like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a chore.
Yes, dude, it was not fun. Well, it wasn't fun, but it sure was satisfying.
Oh, it was. I can't say for that one, obviously, but there's some where I've done slogs like that, and I played through Assassin's Creed 4 twice to completion on Xbox 360 and Xbox One, because they had 2 different versions, 2 different SKUs.
Nice.
And I mean, I just love that game so much anyway, but I played through it to completion twice to get all the achievements. That and Murdered Soul Suspect. I played on both.
Yes, I felt like everyone had that game, right? Because it came out right near the launch, and there was not a lot else to play. That was that's funny.
That was a fun game. Actually,
it was a fun game.
It was a cool story.
And you could be a kitty cat at certain points.
Yeah,
is that right? Oh.
Yeah,
certain points.
Yeah,
I don't remember that. Man,
neither do I. But
really left an impression on me.
Segments.
Oh, okay.
Like in churches and stuff, you could be a little cat.
I believe you. You would remember this. There's no doubt.
I remember cats very well.
Let's see, what story am I going to pick? Boy, Capcom says they're going to be remaking more Resident Evil games. Is this a surprise after the success of 2, 3, and 4?
Not really, but I'm glad they are doing it.
So which one do you think's next?
That's the question. And because they don't know. Can I read the quote first just to give us some context?
Yeah, no, of course.
Yasuhiro Ampo said, yes, we've released 3 remakes so far, and they have all been received very well. Since it allows a modern audience to play these games, it is something I am happy to do as someone that loves these older games, and we want to continue doing more. What game we will remake in the future is something that we would like to announce in the future, so please look forward to it, end quote. I mean, the easy answer is Code Veronica, right? That's what everybody wants.
That's the correct
Yeah.
answer. Yes.
I would kind of like to see Resident Evil 1.
Oh yeah, remade again.
Yeah, because they did the remake on GameCube, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really cool. They added that whole extra side plot with the I can't remember what the character's name was, but it was a female character that had like her hands in blocks or whatever running around. That scared the crap out of me when I was in my 20s. But doing all that and going back to the mansion with the first zombie turnaround, I feel like that effect won't be as effective anymore because, we played 9,000 zombie games at this point. But do you remember how haunting that was the first time you saw that on PS1?
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Oh yeah.
So good.
I think a Resident Evil 1 remake I am not opposed to. I don't know if I want it to be next.
Yeah.
But the idea of exploring the Spencer Mansion with the over the shoulder perspective,
yes,
that would be great. Yeah,
I actually love to play that because the last time I played it, I was very little. Played it with my uncle. We passed the controller back and forth, and that's the last time I played Resident Evil 1. So I don't remember a ton about it. I remember being scared by the zombie turning and by the dog jumping through the window.
Yeah,
and my uncle had to calm me down both times. He's like, "It's just a game. It's just a game. Stop crying."
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if they would do like what Resident Evil 4 did and keep the humor, that the goofiness of Resident Evil 4 was still present in Resident Evil 4 Remake, right?
Uh-huh.
So like in the first one, if you remember, this was obviously the first Resident Evil game. That voice acting was a little suspect in the original.
Sure, well, and a lot of the dialogue, you're almost a Jill sandwich.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I feel like you got to do nods to it, but you can't just have it straight up saying those things.
Right.
You, the master of unlocking.
The master of unlocking. I remember how they would like mask the load times with the stair, going up the stair animations or the door opening animations.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I think it would be really cool to remake the original. I mean, no matter which one they do, it's going to sell.
Well, no matter which one they would do, I will buy it.
Yeah.
Me too.
I feel like the purists really want Code Veronica, but I really think that Resident Evil 1 would sell better.
I want Code Veronica because it's so stranded, Dreamcast and PS2, and there's such key story in there that would even help set up Resident Evil 5. So it feels like the natural next one, and that game is amazing. It deserves the treatment. It just has a lot of interesting environments and stuff, and I would just love to see that one get remade. And 5 to me is just it's so inevitable. And and Resident Evil 5 is still the best-selling one ever, so that almost just feels like, you can save that one as a break glass in case of emergency kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, you don't need to rush to that one.
I feel like 5 was a fun co-op game that didn't need to be a Resident Evil.
Right.
I played that by myself.
Oh, you missed out. That game was really fun playing with a partner.
I didn't have any friends at that time, so I just played by myself, and Sheva annoyed me to death the whole time because she wouldn't do anything to help me.
When you're playing as Sheva, you have a great view the whole time, that's nice.
I feel like
looking at Chris Redfield.
No, I'm talking about Sheva's butt.
Oh.
Resident Evil girls always got cake. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that is true.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be playing with fire trying to remake Resident Evil 5. Honestly.
With the controversy?
Yeah.
Well, it's easy to avoid, right? You just make all the zombies not black this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you going to do that with where they are in the world?
Well, you can say there's a PMC that also got infected,
A PMC?
Private military corporation.
Oh, okay.
And so then you have white zombies there. And maybe don't have the only white woman in the whole game. Would be like with the long flowing blonde hair, the red dress, and she just gets dragged into a room by a bunch of black zombies.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, I didn't remember that either.
So maybe just don't have that be the only. Maybe don't have that scene at all.
There you go.
Because I remember even as a kid, when that game came out, or a teenager, being like, "Well, that seems a little weird." That's weird. That's the only time a white person shows up in the game.
Fair enough. Okay, well, before we get to the new games that we've been checking out, I want to remind everybody about Patreon. If you'd like to get some extra content from the Gaming Outsider, you can subscribe over at patreon.com/thegocast. Or if you'd like to get access to these episodes a day early, you can do that for only $1 a month. $3 a month will get you an extra bonus episode, and $5 a month will get you 2 bonus episodes each month. And we are finally caught up. We actually released 4 episodes in the month of November to make up for our lack of episodes in October. So thank you to everybody that stuck around. You can now check out our Desert Island Games episode with Paul Hine. That was a really fun episode. And then the three of us actually sat down and did a spoiler cast for Alan Wake 2. Both of those episodes are available right now. We do have upcoming some other ones in the works. We've got another Desert Island Games episode with Jay Henry, who is one of our Patreon contributors. And also we're going to be doing a Break the Seal on Super Mario RPG, which Kevin Honingford has never played. And actually, we're going to be also including David Newman on that. He actually finished it today. It is the first time he's ever played it. So we're going to do a Break the Seal with Kevin and David for sure. Again, if you'd like to have access to those, please consider donating to the cause. And it's the website again is patreon.com/thegocast. And we really appreciate all of your guys' support. With that, let's go ahead and jump into the new games that we've been playing. All right, Zach, what's coming out that I can once again avoid this week?
The self-proclaimed worst game ever made, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties Definitive Edition, comes to all consoles and PC December 8th. Bear and Breakfast is a game where you run a bed and breakfast, but you're a bear.
That trailer was weird, by the way.
It sure was. That comes to PS5 and PS4 December 12th. Hammerwatch 2 comes to PS5 and Switch December 12th. Grand Blue Fantasy Rising, the next entry in the fighting franchise, PS5, PS4, and PC December 14th. Alyssa, I'm sure you're excited about House Flipper 2 coming to PC December 14th. It was this very interesting art style in Nausea, which looks to be a very story-focused game coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, and Xbox One December 14th. And then Bonson Knights comes to all consoles and PC December 14th. Not a ton of releases this week. Alyssa, I assume you're all in on House Flipper?
Definitely. I don't know if I'll play it on PC. I might wait for it to come to console, which is not until March. Which will kill me, because House Flipper was my most played game on Xbox last year.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was. I did not expect it to be number one, but on my stats, it's like...
Did those stats come out already?
No, last year.
Oh, okay, in 2022.
I spent a lot of time just in my zen zone flipping houses, so
that's awesome.
I need this game. But I also... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that I hope to get into this Zen game with Power Wash Simulator coming to PlayStation for free this week. But anyway, continue.
I need to try that again. But I'm also interested in two other games. Nausea, however you say it. It's basically a visual novel, but it's in the style of the game Werewolf or Mafia. If you've ever played those, they're kind of like party games where one person is the werewolf or one person's...
Oh yeah. I played the Resistance,
or like Secret Hitler.
Yeah. My friends and I played Werewolf a ton, and usually I'd be the werewolf, but I had a perfect poker face, so no one would actually think I was the werewolf.
Yeah. You're too nice. How could we ever doubt you? You know.
So I would win. But anyway, I would love to experience that again in a visual novel. Remember some high school memories about just always fooling people to making them think I'm not the werewolf when in fact I am the werewolf.
So you did have friends. You lied to us earlier.
They all moved away from me. So,
oh, that's right.
Yeah. But they're all great. I still talk to them. But getting back to video games, also I do want to play Bonson Knights because I did like the previous two games in this Pixel Pulp trilogy, Mothman 1966, and Varney Lake, which I actually did a review for this year on the site.
Oh yeah.
So I do want to check out Bonson Knights as well, just to complete the trilogy.
That art style is fascinating to me, just like the color palette that they use in that trailer.
It reminds me of a like Game Boy Color kind of aesthetic. Yeah,
I can see that totally.
What about you, Scott?
I mean, if I'm not gonna be playing anything,
yeah,
just because my backlog is redonkulous, and I like we're officially in December, so I've got 3 or 4 weeks to play everything that I can for a Game of the Year discussion. So
yes, I'm in the same boat. Yeah,
me too.
But I don't know. Hammerwatch 2 looks a little up my alley, but I'm not gonna play it. And it's weird that I say that because I really didn't like Hammerwatch 1 very much. But 2 looks like it's doing something a little bit different, and I like the art style better than I did the original one. Plus, it's got co-op, so that would be my choice. But Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, I really don't want to play that again, and I'm really shocked that that's coming to all of these platforms. I don't know if you guys have played Plumbers Wear Ties, but there's some stuff that happens in that game that, wow.
Some sexy stuff, right? Is that what you're referring to?
No, not. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not like super gratuitous, like the girls in the shower at the beginning.
Right.
It's
now,
not like
lingerie. Yeah.
It's not like that. But I mean, there's some story stuff that I'm like, ugh.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Like
uncomfortable.
Yeah, like really weirdly uncomfortable. Like
I'm trying
especially
to remember this stuff,
especially in today's. Well, I mean, again, you could have taken a different path than we did.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never played this game. I'm morbidly curious, but
oh my goodness,
I probably
Alyssa,
don't need to touch it.
That would be a fun one just to like for you to stream.
Yeah.
And just like watch your reaction would be pretty fun. But yeah.
I wish I had streaming capabilities because I would totally do that.
That'd be interesting. So yeah, not much for me. I got too much else I want to play.
Yeah, I guess for me as well. Realistically, I'm trying to cram in the games I missed for Game of the Year, which is, probably fighting a losing battle, right?
I don't know how I'm going to finish Spider-Man 2 and Assassin's Creed.
There's multiple I want to play as well, and I'm like, I don't have the time.
Yeah,
Spider-Man 2 is very finishable. I think you could.
I still haven't finished it. I'm 25 hours in, and I'm nowhere near completing it.
Maybe you guys just don't like it, man. That's what it is.
No, I like. That's the thing. I'm doing all the side stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I'm not trying to be an elitist gamer. I just feel like 25 hours. I feel like you should almost be done.
I probably am, honestly. I just haven't made mission stuff now.
Oh yeah, then you can just cruise.
Yeah.
Especially the third act is like an hour and a half, so you can just you can just crash to the end. Yeah, but anyway, for me, if I was picking something, it would be Plumbers Don't Wear Tie Definitive Edition. Much like you, Scott, I have no desire to actually replay this game, but all of the documentary stuff around it, where they actually got like the old actors and interviewed them and stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that was in that. That's interesting.
Yeah. I think that all seems very compelling. It's basically, comes packed with a documentary. They've got the angry video game nerd on there since his, he really brought a lot of the games.
He kind of made it
light.
famous.
Yeah. So I don't know. So that stuff all seems very interesting to me. So
okay.
I might want to check that out at some point, but I don't. I'm trying to get through Assassin's Creed. I want to play Mario Wonder. I'm lying to myself that I'm going to get through Lies of P by the end of the year. There's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And there's no way, Scott, you're not going to possibly beat Assassin's Creed when you've got a new pinball to play, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of back on the pinball train a little bit.
So this is called Pinball M, but this is part of Pinball FX?
I'm genuinely confused by the rebranding. This is a standalone download.
I wonder if the M stands for mature, because these are, I know you're playing it, but they're horror-based?
Yeah, they're all horror-based. So
yeah, The Thing, Chucky...
Dead by Daylight, and Duke
there's
Nukem.
An Eldritch one, right?
Curse of the Elder Gods.
Oh.
Are the 5 tables.
Gods. So, but Duke Nukem's not horror. I mean, unless you consider his brand of humor horrific.
I'm glad you said that because Duke Nukem is the one that stands out because I've never considered Duke Nukem to be anything more than a tongue-in-cheek, machismo-filled FPS. But yeah, it's in there. But this is a standalone app. Like you can download the app for free right now, or not app, but it's a standalone game, and you get the Curse of the Dead Gods. If I'm saying that right, is it the right?
I don't know. Elder Gods?
Elder Gods.
Curse of the Elder Gods, yeah.
Familiar, yeah.
Curse of the Elder Gods, you get that table for free. You can play it as much as you want to, and then you have to purchase the others. So I have played all 5 tables, but it is, like I said, completely standalone. And they do this weird in-game achievement system, not like actual achievements, but just in-game achievement. There are achievements for this, but like you get these in-game achievements for like reading every menu item. Like you get to a menu item and you right click and it gives you a description of how the game works. Mm-hmm. It actually works kind of well because they teach you how the game works. They basically are doing it for people that have not played Pinball FX. They actually even teach you some of the basics of how pinball works. Like, you're going to use the bumpers to hit this and shoot for that target, and they actually line one up for you. And so it's almost like for people that have never played it before, and you can skip it if you don't want to do it. So
yeah, the more you talk about it, the more confused I am that this is a separate thing.
Right. I don't understand it. The only thing I can think of is that Pinball FX got such a negative reaction with their subscription model
Mhm.
that I kind of thought they might be like restarting or starting this offshoot thing to see how it does, because
Yeah.
people were not happy with that subscription model.
I mean,
at
I don't remember
Pinball.
hearing anything positive about it at all.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the conversation
Me
was just
neither.
about that. Yeah.
Like, why would I pay a subscription for tables that I already purchased?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So again, you come back to that, you're paying for an extended license or whatever, right? But
I mean, I guess, but that one is particularly egregious, especially for something that like pinball. It's
Right.
just so
Yeah.
what a simple thing to ruin your reputation over like that.
well, I mean, there's a lot of licenses that are probably expensive.
I'm sure that is true.
So, and they probably have a
But the-
ticking clock on them.
The way they did it was gross.
I actually don't just kind of agree. I agree. But
Yeah.
these 5 tables are, I'm enjoying them quite a bit. The aesthetic, like Alyssa said, is very horror based. My favorite one in terms of just theme alone is the one based on The Thing, the
Yeah, it was like
1984.
flamethrower
Yeah,
stuff
that
going on.
trailer.
Too.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Looked so awesome.
And you know how, I don't know, you guys don't play these as much as I do, but they always get like voice actors that aren't the actual characters,
Right.
but they sound pretty close. Like, I don't know if you played the Star Wars one, their Darth Vader is actually pretty good. Their Kurt Russell is pretty close. Like, if
Oh,
you're,
yeah?
I think it's pretty close.
I feel like he's got a pretty distinct voice, so that's impressive.
No, I mean, it's definitely not him. I can listen to
Right.
it and go, that's not him, but it's a pretty good impression.
Yeah.
But that's like my favorite, just because it's I like the movie, and I'm attached to that one. The one that I am the least attached to is the Dead by Daylight, because I know absolutely nothing about that franchise. Isn't that like a survival?
It's
It's
an
a zombie-
asymmetric multiplayer
Yeah,
game. Yeah.
and I've never played it, so I don't have any affinity for it. So I'm least drawn to that one. But what's funny is I have the best score on that table, which is
Yeah.
weird. I'm
It's
in
'cause
the
it matters the least to you, so you don't care. Then they're
Maybe.
therefore you
Yeah.
do better.
I am actually in the top 100
Wow.
score for that table.
Oh.
So that, I mean,
Well,
granted,
what-
the game's been out for a week, so
Yeah, I mean, maybe that would be the least popular, I assume, for
probably.
of all of these. You know.
One of the more impressive ones to me is the Duke Nukem one, because I actually texted John to ask him, like, dude, are they using your samples or are they using sound-alikes? Because they usually use sound-alikes. And he confirmed that it is actually the audio pulled from the Duke Nukem PC games,
Oh, that's
like
great.
the
Yeah,
anniversary
cool.
edition. So, because when I was listening to it, I was like, this does not sound like Duke Nukem Forever. This does not sound like, current recordings of his. It sounds like it's coming through my PC speaker in the 90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But they actually use the actual sounds from the game, his voice, and it's all, I don't know. I can't do the impression very well, but it's really
Hail
really
to
fun.
the
I can.
king, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
But then they do this really cool moment in the Duke table where like it turns into a first person shooter for a second. One of the mini games. It's basically you have 4 different spots that you go back and forth with the flippers, and you either go 1, 2, 3, or 4, and there's an enemy there, and you shoot it with a launch ball button, and you have to make sure you get them all. It's like a whack-a-mole game basically. Which is-
Damn, that sounds pretty cool.
but they actually use the animations from the PC games of the aliens that you're shooting.
Oh, that's like the old 90s graphics kind of thing.
yeah.
Oh, that's
cool.
awesome.
So like you're outside of a movie theater. You had to take out so many of them, and then you go into the movie theater, and they're in like the seats, and you have to like go back and forth. It's just kind of cool.
That's so
there's
clever. I like
there's
that.
a spinner up at the top of it that's got like the radioactive logo. So it's black or yellow, and there's actually different spots the ball could go in, and it matters which one it goes. I don't know. It's
okay.
just really, really clever stuff they've done there.
That's why the Dead by Daylight table surprises me, because the appeal of when I played it was seeing all of the licenses that you like.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I don't.
Well, I mean,
don't
Dead
know
by
how you-
Daylight's pretty big with that community. It's a pretty popular game.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying like when I was playing it, no one was playing as the Dead by Daylight characters. They were all playing as Chucky or
Oh, yeah.
the survivor from. I was playing as Detective Tapp from Saw, for instance.
Right. Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like everyone was playing as the licensed characters, or the, a bunch of Leon Kennedys running around.
hmm
But so to me, I'm like, well, I don't know what the Dead by Daylight characters are, let alone how you make a table out of them.
It's interesting because they let you be either the survivor or the killer. So like when you start the the table, you actually choose either killer or survivor. Of course, I chose killer. It turns the table red, which is a little bit cooler.
Yeah, that is cool.
So the missions are kind of play a little bit differently, but I had fun with it. It's just, like I said, I'm least attached to it. But the Chucky table, I didn't look it up to verify, but it sounds like the actual voices from the movies. Like, I swear, if that's not Jennifer
Dourif.
Tilly,
Yeah.
isn't that the dude from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, the Worm Tongue.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
just watched Alien Resurrection, and he was in that too, and I never made that connection that was actually him. But I swear it's Jennifer Tilly. If it's not, it is the best impression of Jennifer Tilly I've ever seen or heard. And they actually have screen, and like in the little LCD screen, you see shots from the movies actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you get Game Over, they actually show Chucky in the dumpster with the garbage truck dumping garbage into him, like the final shot of the movie.
Yeah, that's nice.
I thought it's pretty cool. I'm still figuring out some of the tables, but today I a little feather in my cap. But Doc Sampson from our community, he's actually a huge pinball fanatic. He and I have been going back and forth on Discord. I beat all of his scores except for one, and so he and I are going back and forth, and the competition is on. So
it's the stuff you live for, right?
Dude, that's the fun part of pinball for me, is just the chasing each other's. You know what I mean? Ted Lasso said it's all, it's just you against yourself, and I like that quote. But it's fun to go after your friends' scores and just try to one up each other and take a picture of it and text it to them. That's pretty cool.
He wakes up in the dead of night thinking it's an emergency from his family, but it's just you taunting him.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is my buddy Mike that I usually do that with lives in Portland. So he's 2 hours behind, so I never have to worry about that because he's still up by the time I'm playing. Yeah. So, but and then even outside of that, they've added a lot of the same features from Pinball FX. Like there's daily challenges. Like they'll give you a certain amount of distance that the ball can travel. You try to rack up as many points by only going so many yards, so the game actually keeps track of how far the ball travels, and when it reaches that limit, it just says done. And you see what your score is, and you kind of have daily challenges like that, or the one ball challenge. How many points can you get on just one ball? It's like stuff like that. And
isn't that just pinball? You're always just trying to see how much you can get on one ball.
No. You get 3 balls in pinball.
I know, I understand. I'm saying, but the objective is pinball is always to see how many points you can get on one ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get an extra life essentially, so you get it without the extra lives.
I understand. Yeah. It's a shorter version of pinball.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun because then they actually like have leaderboards for each of those modes, so you can actually not just go beat your buddy's score on the table itself, but you can go beat his one ball score. You could beat his distance score, limited distance score, or time score. You can do like a 3-minute round. You could
just make Doc Sampson suicidal.
No, he's much better at pinball than I am, like by far.
Oh yeah.
I feel bad. He was probably frustrated with me because I got Pinball FX. And that was why he actually started listening, because he heard me talk about Pinball FX on DLC. And then he came over like, yeah, I got a pinball buddy. And then I stopped playing. So sorry, Doc. But I'm back at least for the foreseeable future with these tables because they are fun.
Hey man, it's Zen Studios' fault, not yours.
Yeah, right?
That's very true.
All right, Alyssa, I want to talk about the game that you've been checking out. It is called Noctuary.
Mm-hmm.
This trailer is very confusing to me because it does not, on the surface, it does not seem like an Alyssa game outside of the fact that it's a Japanese game, but it looks very hack and slashy. You usually play like the graphic novel type stuff, and then obviously the AAA games and everybody. But what is Noctuary?
I actually think Noctuary is Chinese.
Oh, is it? My bad.
Yeah, because you can only listen to 2 default languages, and that's Cantonese or Mandarin. I just chose Cantonese because that was the default.
I apologize to everybody for me being a dumb American that does not know the difference between Chinese and Japanese.
No, I thought it was going to be a Japanese game at first too, so don't feel bad. It is mostly a visual novel, but there are moments when the characters who are named Fancy a Dream and Alina Night Song.
Those are some real comic book names.
They're trying to be Arba Rangers, which are these basically warriors, because in this world there are dark critters. These names are okay.
I
They're
can't
just
tell if
made
you're
out of
being
shit.
serious or if you're just saying that because you're from Alabama.
No, that's the actual name of the.
Okay. That's you're just
Character.
so we fight these dark critters in this
No,
game.
it's actually dark critters, and they're made out of shadows, and their enemies are the Illuminators, who are made out of light. And Arbor Rangers are trying to save the Illuminators and fight back against the dark critters. So Alina and Fancia want to be Arbor Rangers. So after reading some dialogue, you'll be thrown into a battle against dark critters, and it becomes a hack and slash game. And it's actually kind of tough, I'm not gonna lie, just on the default difficulty, because you could switch between Alina and Fancia. There's 3 different fighting styles for each character, but you can only dodge twice, and then you have to wait for it to recharge, and enemies will just gang up on you. So you dodge twice, and then you just start getting hit, and you have to wait for your dodge to refill. But it's also satisfying in a way when you finally clear out all the dark critters. So it gives you a nice little break from the visual novel aspect when it goes to the hack and slash top-down perspective. And it tells you, like, you did it you completed this in this amount of time. And then adds a little bit of an RPG aspect because you accrue tokens, and then you put the tokens towards, your health or your damage or your debuffs or whatever, and you spend the tokens on that so you can make your characters the way you want them. So it's a blend of a game.
So it's a unique blend.
Yeah.
All right.
It's also got main missions and side missions. I'm nowhere near completing it. Seems like it's going to be pretty lengthy. But I'm actually interested in it. From what I can tell, the voice acting is pretty good. I do not know Cantonese, so I cannot actually tell you if the translation is accurate or anything of that nature. Sounds good, though. And the music's good, and it'll tell you in the top right corner what the song name is and who the artist is, which is cool, I think.
That's cool.
So it's interesting. It's really interesting, and it gives you a ton of lore to read through, which does get a little bit confusing. But I like that you get the lore and you can refer to it back at any point in time. But yeah, I mean, if you like visual novels, but you want one that breaks it up a little bit with some hack and slash action that's going to challenge you, it's an interesting game. Like, it's unique. And I like that, they took a chance and released a game like this because it's not something you play every day.
Sure. Yeah, it looked different for sure. And you're playing that on PC. It looks like it's exclusive to PC right now.
I'm playing it on my Steam Deck, and it plays beautifully. No
All right,
issues.
Cool. And the developer is Grotesca, and we got that copy from Uber Strategist, so thanks to those guys for hooking us up with that one.
And Scott, you've also been playing Dave the Diver, which you told us is your newest obsession. And I don't know much about Dave the Diver. Everything I've seen, it just looks like you're diving, you work at a sushi restaurant, but I've heard there's way more that goes on besides this. So can you elaborate for us?
And your favorite thing about it is that it's an indie game, right?
I'm not getting into that discussion. No. I got to tell you about my first history with like me getting into this game, because when I started it up, I played seriously maybe 10, 15 minutes and something came up and I had to go. And I started playing and I was intrigued. Okay, this seems really simple. And I made the mistake of going to howlongtobeat.com to look up how long this game is.
Oh no, you did it for Dave the Diver? It's quite a twist, isn't it?
It's quite a twist. It was not what I was expecting, because I thought, hey, we got this indie game that it's going to be like, maybe 8 to 12 hours. It says like just to beat the game is 23 hours. And my immediate question was, why in the world is this game that long? I thought it was just going to be a cute little romp, right?
Yeah.
And then I actually started getting into it, and I understand, because this game is way more than I thought it was. Did you guys ever play Moonlighter? You remember me talking about Moonlighter?
Oh yeah, I bought it on your recommendation.
Yeah, it's like you go through a dungeon crawler type thing, and then you spend the evenings working your shop, basically selling all the stuff that you bought, that you collected. This is kind of a combination of Moonlighter and WarioWare.
Okay.
Which I know sounds like a ridiculous thing to say, but that's kind of what it is. There's so many different things that you're doing in this game. The core of the game at least as far as I am so far, is you spend part of the time diving. And when you're diving, you're doing missions. You are, number one, fishing, because you have to have fish to be able to serve in your sushi restaurant. Not your sushi restaurant. You are working for free for this guy that owns a sushi restaurant for some reason.
How generous.
Yeah, by the way, Dave the Diver is me, because I feel like so many people keep coming up to him and just saying, hey, I need you to do this, and he just doesn't say no.
He just can't.
He's just being taken advantage of, and say, hey, I need like 6 of these colored shells to do some research for a paper I'm writing. You can do that. He's like, well, I don't really want to do that. Yeah, but I need to. Oh, okay. Like that's just stuff
Scott
like that.
the Diver.
Yeah, pretty much. It should be called Scott the Diver. I'm getting that size too. But anyway, so you spend time in the water, and there's a pretty simple mechanic. You have a melee attack, you have a ranged attack, a harpoon, and then you eventually get upgrades, at least as far as I am, where you have an underwater gun that you can also use to fish and fend off enemies. But you're also doing just random things. I mean, every time I get to the surface, there's a new character that's asking me to do some kind of new mission. And everything, it just feels very rewarding. Number one, to complete it, but number two, to get the money and then be able to invest it back into the sushi restaurant. The second part of the game is in the sushi restaurant itself. If you've ever played like Cook Serve Delicious, it reminds me a little bit of that, where it's actually not even that complicated. It's more like a Diner Dash, where you're not cooking the food. At least I'm not cooking the food yet. I am. There is a cook that is cooking it, and he orders it up. I just have to go click on him and then deliver it to somebody at the table. But the restaurant management aspect of it is actually a lot more in depth than I was expecting, because even though it's very simplistic from what I explained, you can hire staff, because the customers are going to start coming fast and furious. So you actually have to put out an ad for a job, and then someone applies for the job and you hire them. And then you have to actually put on the menu. You have to put items on the menu based on what kind of fish you caught that day. So everything you're cooking is fresh. And then you also find other ingredients that that you can expand the menu item to make it sell more, and all this kind of stuff. Just everything that I do in this game, I feel like I'm progressing. Even if it's just a little bit, that little bit feels constantly satisfying. And I really struggled to put it down today. I genuinely can't wait to finish tonight so I can go home. I think I'm going to start playing this in bed at night before I go to sleep, instead of watching a movie or a TV show or something, because I am into this game. It is so satisfying. It's so much fun. Every time you go diving, it's procedurally generated, so it's completely different. Everything is completely randomized, so it feels like you're going into a new thing. So it feels like a less stressful roguelike.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where a lot of those games, you need a lot of dexterity, you need a lot of skill. This one feels like just a chill roguelike. Like there's not a whole lot of stakes. If you die, which, by the way, your health is just your oxygen. It's because you have a limited amount of oxygen, you have a limited amount of depth that you can go in the water, and you die by running out of oxygen. And if you get hit by enemies, it lowers your oxygen. Like, the idea is you're consuming more oxygen if you get attacked. But then you find upgrades. You find little things that make it so that you can dive deeper. You get a bigger oxygen tank. You meet a guy that sells you upgraded weapons to use, and everything just feels awesome. I really did not think I was going to like this game when I started. I was like, this is just really simple, and I don't want to do the restaurant stuff. And then I kept myself going, and now I can't stop. Dave the Diver is fantastic. I actually talked to Thomas Becks from our community. Mm-hmm. I messaged him and then asked him if he had played it, because I said, I really think you're going to like this game. And he said, oh, dude, I've got like 90 hours in Dave the Diver. It's one of my favorite games of the year. So I don't know what I committed myself to. I don't know. This may be one where I don't know if I'll be able to complete it before I write the review, but I am enjoying it. This is the one I want to be playing on my Switch when I have free time. You know, if I'm in the car or if I'm in bed or whatever. I'm absolutely loving Dave the Diver. Have I sold either of you on it at all?
I definitely want to play it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was already interested, but the chillness that you're talking about has sold me.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's just fun stuff that happens too. There's a giant squid roaming around that keeps an eye on, but it's always like in the distance. There'll just be like a giant eyeball that pops up, and there's random earthquakes that happen, and so there's
It's not,
something
like,
else.
scary, right? Yeah, like a giant squid's not going to eat you.
Well, you get the impression it's supposed to, because it like there are these boats that deliver supplies, and there's one scene where like the tentacles come up and drag this boat down, and all the containers like fall in the water and sink to the bottom. So that's the explanation for there being stuff for you to find underwater. Like you just find these boxes, and there's equipment in them that works for you. So, but then there's this charming, because you've seen the art style, right, where it's like pixelated.
Mm-hmm.
But it's high detailed pixelation, if that makes sense. And then there's always these goofy animations for like in the restaurant, your chef is this guy with a katana blade for some reason, or whatever the short version of a katana blade is. And whenever he does, like, he creates a new dish, there's this goofy animation where he like slowly takes out this knife and it turns blue, and then he chops up everything, and then he slowly puts it back away. It's just goofy stuff like that. Or the guy that upgrades your weapons, he's like a super nerd that sits at a computer, and they have a close-up of his hand on the mouse, and you see him like very dramatically click the button to make this upgraded item for you, and then it turns into this. He's big into Japanese anime, so he's watching like some anime, and there's this. It's all Japanese girl dancing and singing.
Oh,
Like it's just weird stuff like that, but it's super charming at the same time.
Alyssa, can you confirm is the dagger version of a katana a tanto knife?
I'm not positive.
Isn't that the Lone Ranger's friend?
That
is
also
actually
true. Yes.
Yeah. I need to brush
what a
up on
relevant-
my sword knowledge.
What a relevant piece of pop culture to bring up, Scott. The Lone Ranger.
I love that NES game, man. I'm telling you,
Oh yeah, I own it.
gonna get you to play that someday.
Man,
But yeah.
I'll listen.
Dave the Diver comes from developer Mint Rocket. I am playing it on Switch. It is only available on Switch and PC right now. I can't imagine this isn't going to come to Xbox and PlayStation at some point. It's got to, right? With
Yes.
success.
You think? Yeah.
But Evolve PR hooked me up with that copy, so I'm very grateful to them because I am digging this game. It is as good as everybody is saying. I had my doubts when I started it. It takes a while to get going, and it just keeps getting deeper and deeper, no pun intended. And it just gets better and better as I'm going. I can't wait to see where it goes. And there you have it. All right. Those are the games we've been playing, the brand new ones anyway. I got a couple other reviews for you. Sat down with Mark and CJ to talk about a couple games. We'll play that for you right now. Well, hello there, CJ. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Scott?
I'm doing well. Those of you listening, Mark is not here. I know I just got done saying that Mark was going to be here to talk about Ludo. Unfortunately, we had a last-minute scheduling conflict that kept him from being able to join us. So you're going to have to wait till next week to hear about Luto.
What a slacker.
At least the demo that he played for the game. He's got a racing league that he does.
No excuses.
On
he gets
Monday
50
night,
lashes
so.
and then he walks the plank.
But hey, CJ's still here, and he's going to be talking to us about a game called This Means Warp. Not to be confused with This Means War. This means Warp with a P on the end of it. This comes
clever.
from, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Jagex? Jagex?
Yeah, Jagex.
Game studio.
They're a studio that their biggest property is RuneScape. It's something that I've played a lot of starting in middle school. So I've got a 25-year-old RuneScape account. But yeah, that's where they're primarily known for, is the MMORPG known as RuneScape. But yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, they also provided us with a code, so shout out to those guys for letting us review it.
Absolutely.
I've not played this. You've played it, but the first thing that struck me when I saw it is it looks like a multiplayer FTL. I don't know if you played FTL on Steam.
No, I haven't played
FTL
on Steam, but it's very similar to Overcooked on Switch, and I guess it's on other platforms too. But Overcooked is something that's very comparable to This Means Warp.
All right, tell us how it works.
So it's a top-down perspective, and you're playing multiplayer. It doesn't really work with one person. I tried it, and it's very boring. Because like Overcooked, you've got multiple stations, multiple things going on at the same time. Instead of cooking in a restaurant, the goal of Star Warp, this means warped.
I love that you
This
keep calling
means
it Star Warp.
It's really, we'll call it Star Warped. Yeah. No, but the goal is to keep your ship intact while you're battling another ship in space. And so you've got guns on your ship. You've got captain's chair, which allows you to drive into the next grid. It's not very exciting driving. I'm really just getting from point A to point B, but it's something that you have to keep intact on your ship. But while you're shooting at the enemy's also shooting at you and targeting various places on your ship. There's multiple things from the hull to the guns to the support systems like your ammo. And you're just a little character on the screen running around, either taking repair kits to go repair something that your opponent shot, or you're going to take ammo to your cannons so that you can shoot them. And yeah, eventually there's a health bar that goes to 0 and their ship explodes, and very satisfying. You know how some games have like super rumble for the haptics?
Yeah.
It's a very satisfying super rumble when you blow up the other team's ship.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of what's the pirate game on Xbox Game Pass?
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of, like, but just like an isometric top-down view instead of like actually running
Sea of
around.
Thieves. This is definitely taking up a lot less CPU power than Sea of Thieves, that's for sure. But
But yeah,
you're all kind of on the ship. You got somebody steering. The steering feature in This Means Warp is not applicable in combat. There's no reason to be on there. It's literally just to get you from one box to the next box, and that's how each battle occurs, in one box on a grid, and then you move to the next box on the grid. And eventually you get to the boss, and on the way you encounter grids that have loot and grids that have a shop to perform some.
Oh, so you're actually progressing cooperatively?
Correct. Yeah. There's each grid is a level, and after you defeat the boss of a level, you go to some kind of space station, and on that space station you can do permanent upgrades to your ship. It's
so it's got some roguelike.
It does. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're
well.
playing, it is like a roguelike. You play till you die, but you keep your progress.
But you're playing against real people, or you're playing against a computer, AI?
No, you're playing against a computer, an AI. And they're controlling the other ship that you're firing at. It's up to you. And it is multiplayer, so you can go in and play with random people online. I played with a group of 4 or 5 guys that we all crammed into my office here, and it was a hoot. It was definitely something. Somebody's got to take charge. And if you've played Overcooked, maybe you have this experience where there's almost always someone who needs to tell everybody what they need to be doing in order to be efficient and successful. And it's definitely a game. Before we started really assigning roles and cracking down on who needs to do what and where, it was very, very difficult. Even on the lowest difficulty, there's 4 difficulty ratings, and we started off on normal, and normal it seemed impossible, but we bumped it down to baby, and we were able to do it with lots of communication. We didn't try it again on normal. We just kind of rode the wave of success until we finished. But I can't imagine what hard or legendary difficulty is going to be like, because your opponents get significantly more health than you, and they do more damage than you, and you can't run very fast. So it's probably something that's not even available. So as you go earning experience for each individual character, you can level them up and apply a stat boost to either their speed, their repair time. So you cut down on your repair time, or your firing power, your damage that you can do. And you start off with 4 basic characters, and they each kind of are a little better than other characters in one aspect.
So it's a max of 4 people at one time. I know you said you had 5 guys over.
Correct.
I didn't know.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we were
So
switching
4
controllers, and I let them play while I was taking notes. And
Gotcha. That sounds like really fun. That's not what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be a competitive thing, like you were playing against friends. But I like the idea of it being cooperatively going through a roguelike together. Ah, man, I got to play this now. That sounds. I like the progression
Speaking of
idea.
roguelikes playing together, have you ever played Vampire Survivors with multiplayer mode?
Not with multiplayer, no.
It's fun.
Is it?
not to get too far off track, but yeah, multiplayer. We were just talking about how I completed the whole game on my phone, and now I'm working on completing Vampire Survivors on my Xbox. But on the Xbox, you can add people in, and you have your character, and you're together on the screen. Anyway, doing roguelike stuff. It's a lot of fun. My wife even likes to play it. My wife doesn't really play video games with me or otherwise.
Well, I mean, that's just a stick. Like, there's not much controls on that one. So.
Right. Yeah. And my son's, I make my son play with me, and he's like, "What if my buttons don't do anything?" It's like, yeah, that's kind of the point.
That's kind of the point.
But
so. All right, so this means warp sounds like a lot of fun, though.
It's a lot of fun if you're in good communication. If you've got somebody who's not gonna, you obviously can't take this game seriously. It's cartoony. If you wanted to take it seriously, you would need 3 other people who are taking it just as seriously. Otherwise, just one weak link, one person who's not willing to drop everything and repair the ship when it needs to be repaired can ruin your whole game. Something I did want to mention is that the damage aspect on your ship, when they do damage to it, it has a mini timer on it. I know you love timers, so this is perfect for you. But you've got this mini timer on your damage, and if that timer drops to 0, you can repair that piece, but it's permanent damage. That damage is grayed out on your health bar, and so your total maximum health gets reduced for that level if you didn't repair it in time. Yeah. So it just takes one guy to neglect to repair his side of the ship or something, and then you've got half your HP to accomplish the rest of the level with, and it's frustrating.
I've got to play this game now, man. This is not what I was expecting from looking at the trailer, and I think you've sold me on it. So this means Warp, again, from Jagex Games Studio. Thanks for checking that one out, CJ. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, you betcha. Have a good night, Scott.
Hey, you too. We'll catch you later. All right. Before we get to the topic, I want to remind everybody that if you could, do us a favor and drop us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps us get the word out there. And also be sure to check out our website, thegamingoutsider.com. We got a couple reviews out there. Shardpunk Verminfall from Jacob is available. And also Mark Szymanski wrote a quick review on his impressions of the demo for a horror game called Ludo, which you just heard him talk about. So be sure to check that out as well. With that, let's go ahead and jump into our From the Outside In topic. It's our last community question segment of the year for our From the Outside In topic. Each month, here's what we do. We ask all of you guys listening for questions on social media that make for great discussion points on the show, and then we answer them right here. So I'm going to pass it off to Alyssa first.
Okay.
And Alyssa, if you would kick things off with questions over on Facebook, we're going to answer these questions. I think we got some good ones.
Okay. Stephanie.
Good start.
No, great. Destiny Stevens writes, "What's the best game you've played on Steam Deck so far?"
I mean, how do I not say Vampire Survivors? But I feel like that's a cheat. Because I played it on that and I played it on Xbox. But I don't know. What do you think, Alyssa?
I mostly play visual novels on mine, to be honest. And the ones I've enjoyed the most were Saint Maker, which was a horror visual novel. And then I really enjoyed Gods of the Twilight, which is still in early access, but really enjoyed that one. I also really liked Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun. That was a ton of fun on there.
I'm really upset I never got to play that one. That looked like a lot of fun.
Oh, it is. It's just it's so much fun to just mow down enemies. Like, it feels like a classic title, like Doom or whatever from back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm getting my fix on that with Turok 2 at the moment.
Okay.
Zach, you don't have a Steam Deck, correct? So you don't really have an answer for this?
No, I don't.
I'm not trying to rub it in, but
yeah, I was gonna say after I finally decide I want one, this question pops up. I see how it is. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say Fear and Hunger though, because it's
Hunger.
it's a turn-based RPG on Steam it will never come to consoles due to its subject matters.
Now I have to check it out.
It's very dark.
I bought Control just so I could like test out my Steam Deck, push it to its limits, and I never even fired it up. So that's my fault. But yeah, I mean, Vampire Survivors. I mean, I played it there before it came to console because that was the only place it was on at first, and just absolutely loved it. It's kind of crazy to say that's a game, the best game I played on a $500 handheld console, but
I mean, as an outsider, the thing that appeals to me most about Steam Deck is all the indie games that
Right.
are stranded on PC.
Mm-hmm. That was why I got it, because there's so many games that I don't have any other way to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except for on PC,
Right.
and I can't play on my Mac. So, anywho, next question, Zach.
Sean Coates writes in, now that the year's almost over, what are some games you're looking forward to that are currently slated for 2024?
I had to look.
Yeah, I had to as well, which I'm sure the ones I'm looking forward to are similar to what you guys are looking forward to.
I mean, the number one is Final Fantasy,
Yes.
right? I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what tops that.
I know one game that tops it.
Tomb Raider.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Oh, that does look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think it comes out mid-January, so it's only about a month away now. But I don't care. It has Prince of Persia in the title. It's new. I'm in, man. I'm very excited. It doesn't look a lot like other Prince of Persia games, but that's fine. It's a series that's always reinvented itself.
And they'll go back to
man,
the 2D format, right? Like the
This one's 2.5D.
Mhm.
But it's also supposed to be gear gated in some way, which the franchise has never been.
Mhm.
So it's definitely a new spin on the franchise, and you're rescuing the prince as opposed to being the prince. Although I suspect there will be some sort of twist where you find out you are a prince of Persia, perhaps.
Oh.
And yeah, I just think it looks great. Obviously,
the other ones I had on my list, as weird as it sounds, I'm kind of looking forward to the Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake on Switch.
Hell yeah, dude.
I only played the first one on Game Boy back in the day, and I just thought it was so much fun. And I would like to revisit that and play the other ones included in there, as well as the 1,000-Year Door coming to Switch.
Oh yeah.
Because that game's really hard to play now because it's only on GameCube, and it's really
it's not cheap.
expensive. It's not cheap at all. So, I don't know how long it's been since you guys have played that. I just remember the writing being outstanding in that game, like
I've never played it. So
genuinely funny. Well, you got to play Mario RPG or
I
maybe
do.
just start with Paper Mario. I think you would like Paper Mario. It's if you've played an RPG, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
If you
Right.
can
really
do
need to-
Sea of Stars, you'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
Play a Super Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga on Nintendo Switch Online via the Game Boy Advance or Advance, right? Was it a GBA game?
It's advanced, yeah.
Yeah.
Game is so
Play that
good.
on back. It's exquisite. 2024. I'm also looking forward to Final Fantasy VII, of course. I think we're all shaking with anticipation there. But I'm also really looking forward to the Plucky Squire.
Oh, I
That
forgot
does
about
look
that
very
game.
endearing. Yeah.
Which is,
That's the one where it's like a drawing that comes to life in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, then you can pop off the page and it's 3D. It sounds amazing. And if they're showing that in the trailers, what other surprises do they have in store?
Right. Yeah.
And then I'm also really interested. I think it's called Still Wakes the Deep, the one where you're on an oil rig.
Yeah.
The first person horror game, and it kind of looks
It
some
does look
hints-
interesting.
hints of some eldritch things going on. I think that looks really compelling as well.
I didn't realize they were doing a Braid Anniversary Edition. Did you know that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That
I've never played Braid.
It's great.
I'm trying to decide if you would like Braid, Alyssa.
I think you'll like it.
Think so?
It gets very dark at the end.
Yeah, it does.
Would I be too dumb for it? That's the thing. Because I'm not good at puzzle games.
It's
pretty tricky.
It's a little
I'm not
tricky,
trying Yeah. But and it came out when it came out. We had the benefit of there were no other games out.
Yeah.
Like games didn't come out as quick back then, so we would stick with it, scratching our heads. But I mean, I guess you're in the modern age. You could just look up any puzzle you're stuck on.
Right.
I know, it's just not as fun doing that.
Yeah, it's also risky, I guess, because Braid's been out so long. You're guaranteed to get a spoiler or two.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised that really haven't been spoiled already. So,
Speaking of anniversary editions, Zach, did you know that they're doing an anniversary edition of Beyond Good and Evil?
Yeah, they just announced it the other day.
I saw it leaked. I didn't hear the actual announcement.
Well, all they said was that it's coming because of all the leaks, and that what you have seen is not that it was alpha footage or something because it looked pretty bad. Yeah, they're having a 20th anniversary edition on the 21st year since its release.
oh, that's smart.
Pretty amazing. I'm
Also,
also
they should have just called it 21st anniversary edition. That'd be
why
hilarious.
not? It would be
Yeah, I
funny.
know.
I also want to play the Star Wars Dark Forces remaster because I never played Dark Forces.
It's a lot of remasters so far.
I know, dude,
Yeah.
but there's so many of these games I missed back in the day. So the problem is that game comes out the day before Final Fantasy, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I also think a lot of games that aren't remasters for 2024, like they're kind of like nebulously announced, or like there's a Wonder Woman game coming, but when? There's
Right.
GTA 6 will be coming, but when, I guess by the time people are listening to this, they might know when, if it was in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But there are just a lot of games that I'm looking forward to that just don't have a year yet.
Yeah.
Hellblade 2 probably coming out in 2028 at the rate it's going.
What else is funny? I saw a commercial, an Xbox commercial on TV, and they were like showing Senua's Saga.
Song.
Yeah.
The Saga.
Saga. I don't remember now.
It was Sacrifice was the first one, right?
I thought it was Senua's Song. Is that wrong?
I could have swore it was Saga.
Just say Hellblade 2.
Hellblade
It's probably
2.
Senua's Saga.
Anyway, they were like showing it off on TV. I'm like, were we just talking about like how we haven't heard about that game in like forever, and then they show it off in a trailer? Does that mean anything? I don't know.
Also, why do they keep just showing cutscenes?
Right.
Yeah,
What's the
that's
gameplay
also a
look
good
like?
point.
Yeah, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. You were right. I was wrong.
Hey,
That's pretty rare. I know.
that is rare.
It is rare.
That's
Sounds better.
mostly like pretty much all I can think of. It's weird. We had such a banger year. I haven't really even like been paying attention to 2024.
I do want to play Persona 3 Reload because I haven't played Persona 3 before.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it does it justice. Also interested in Banisher's Ghost of New Eden because I'm just a fan of Don't Nod.
I'm very excited about that game, but I was going to use that for the next question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, what? Why would you be
I'm sorry for stealing it too soon.
You're not stealing it. The game looks great. They showed off a new trailer where they explained like about the morality of the game, and it's pretty compelling.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of a husband and a wife ghost banishers, and then one of them turns into a ghost. It's a pretty immediately compelling premise.
Yeah, I like it. Well, let's go ahead and do the next question. It comes from Kevin Honingford, and he says, piggybacking off of Sean Coates, what game are you most disappointed you didn't get a chance to crack into last year?
Banishers Ghost of New Eden, because they delayed it.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be a November game, which would have been perfect, I think. Because they said they pushed it so everybody can enjoy the October games, but you guys pushed it into the middle of February, where it's going to get absolutely eaten alive.
I know.
I mean, I remember the trailer for Pacific Drive just came out the other day. The car survival game, like along the Northwest, and that game looks really cool. But I remember I clicked on the trailer. I was like, dude, if this isn't February, I'm going to lose my mind. Oh, February 22nd, coming at you. Why? Why are they in February, man? You guys are just, it doesn't, why are you repeating October already? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You're going to release, like Persona 3, and your Banishers Ghost of New Eden, brand new IP. You're going to go up against the Tomb Raider remasters of Persona 3, and then the next week, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
Yeah,
you think that's a better time? What are you talking? Yeah, these people are, Anyway, as for actual games that released this year, the only one I think Mario Wonder bugs me that I haven't played yet, but I'm hoping to get that next after Assassin's Creed Mirage. And then after talking to people at R2V2, I'm bummed I didn't try out the full game of Lies of P, because not only did they, but also everybody online who talks about it, or everybody on a podcast talks about it, is like, the demo sucked. The game is amazing. So it's like I gotta check out the game. I guess it's on Game Pass. I have no roadblock really, but other than time.
Right. What about you, Alyssa?
For me, I want to play all these games, but I don't know if I'll. Well, I can tell you, I'm not gonna get to all of them before the end of the year. Definitely Super Mario RPG. I want to play. I want to play Jusant. But I feel like I could play that pretty easily, very quickly. And of course, it's not really late season screenings. It's DLC. Still want to play that.
Oh yeah.
Let's see.
Well, we've listed a couple 3-hour games so far, so you can knock those out pretty quick.
Okay.
Jusant is very short.
I had one in mind and it just went poof. It left my brain.
Hopefully not. Don't play Modern Warfare 3.
It was not that. You're safe. Dave the Diver, I do want to play. Sounds really interesting. I am intrigued by RoboCop, Rogue City.
Oh, me too. Yeah. That's really challenge review.
sitting right here, and I have not played it. I think I'm just gonna have to give it. We got one for a giveaway, and I have not had a chance to play it. So I think I'm just gonna give it away without starting it. So that's a bummer.
Ew, yeah, because the Terminator game was good.
Yeah,
That's all I can think of at the moment.
Alyssa, do you think the RoboCop game will work for me if I've never seen RoboCop?
Probably.
I don't know. I get the impression that a lot of the appeal of that game is how much it draws from its original stuff.
Reading Sean's review made me genuinely angry about the Suicide Squad game because he's describing RoboCop and he's walking around like there's no sprint or crouch like there would be in a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
You know, so it actually feels like RoboCop, right? They're like breaking the rules of what a first-person shooter is because they're being true to the character.
Mm-hmm.
And then Suicide Squad, you're playing as a giant shark who uses a minigun, or Deadshot's using a jetpack that he's never had in a single comic book ever, or Boomerang, Captain Boomerang's using a shotgun instead of a boomerang. And I'm like, well, yeah, see, that's because they made a shooter first. They're like, well, what license can we slap onto this to make some money?
Right.
Whereas RoboCop was an actual letter of love, and it made me so mad because I'm like, RoboCop can get that treatment, but not DC Comics. Okay, that's the world we live in, I guess.
For me, I did not get a chance to play a game called Dredge. I don't know if you guys saw this one.
Oh,
I wanted to play that
man.
one as well. Yeah.
Well, you're really into fishing games this year, Scott.
Apparently, and I hate fishing games. And like if you've heard me on this podcast, I do not. I always hate fishing sections of games, but for whatever reason, I'm into them this year. I want to play Dredge. I've heard awesome things about that one.
It's like a horror fishing game, man.
It
Yeah, you're
is,
right.
yeah.
That game looks awesome.
Which actually they made an update where you can turn the horror elements off.
Oh, really?
Which I'm like, I thought that was the whole appeal of it.
Yeah, right.
You can just turn the game off, I guess.
Another one that I'm really intrigued by, but I know very little about, is Cocoon. I think that one is on Xbox.
It's on Game Pass. Yeah.
And it's supposed to be pretty short, but I don't know what it is. I've just heard that people were pleasantly surprised by what that game is. So, also, and I could probably get this for cheap now, but I really want to play Forspoken for some reason. Because that game seems so divisive, and I just want to see what. Although it's been spoiled for me, like the ending is spoiled, but I don't know if that really matters because it's kind of a silly spoiler anyway.
Well, at this point, you've heard so much bad about it for so long that it can't do anything but surprise you with being decent, right?
That's kind of my thought process. So,
also, I'm sorry. Similarly, I want to play Immortals of Avium.
Yeah.
Same kind of vibe there with a magic.
The reviews I've heard of that one are that it is a really great game that's very well put together that just came out at the wrong time.
Yeah.
It came out like right at Baldur's Gate 3 and Sea of Stars.
Oh, that's another one I wanted to play. Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
I can't.
I want to play it, but the daunting amount of hours to put in, very overwhelming to me.
Yeah, Kevin, our producer, keeps not bugging me. He keeps reminding me, hey, we're going to play some Baldur's Gate. I will, man. We'll play some Baldur's Gate. I'm sorry.
300 hours of Baldur's Gate.
It's a lot of Baldur's Gate. But, and I had one other one. I was really stoked about the remake of System Shock because I've never played System Shock and I missed that one. So I would put that on my list of games that I've not checked out. So my list of games I wish I had finished is much longer. So I'm glad you did not ask that question, Kevin. But, yeah.
Oh, dude, Dredge, man. I gotta see if that's on sale or something.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that game looks so cool.
I agree. Alyssa, you want to take the next question?
Yeah. Andrew Jack writes, how hard is it to make one Xbox app that does everything it used to? I'm old enough to remember when my Xbox phone app could be a remote control and I could buy things from the store. I mean, I miss being able to buy things from the store on the app as well.
You can't do that now?
No, you can download it to your console, but then you have to buy it on your console.
Dude, it's really funny because you can set it to download, but then you click on it when you get home. It's like, all right, it's gonna be $30. You want to play it though? Yeah. It's like it's weird that I can pre-download it though.
Yeah, but you can't buy it on the app. It just pre-downloads it.
Especially if you're trying to get that sale price, right? Like you want to get it before the sale ends or whatever. Like I could have bought Bayonetta.
Gotta use a web browser, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
My assumption was that the storefronts must want a 30% cut, but then PlayStation, they let you buy stuff directly from the app there.
Yeah, they do.
And the way the Apple Epic lawsuit ended you can have your own. You don't have to go through Apple now with every purchase. So Xbox could update the app and correct that if they wanted to.
They'll probably do that after the achievements.
I hope so. That's a priority. I agree. Gotta get those achievements. I'm not joking.
But yeah, he's right. Like you could even like do TV shows and everything just right on your phone app. I'm one of the weirdos that actually use the Kinect for all that stuff, like Xbox Pause.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, I did that all the
Did you hang
time.
out with Milo?
No, I never did that. I never like really understood what that was, even when the presentation was.
It was like a AI representation of a child. It was very weird.
Yeah, like
I don't know who the market is for that.
Yeah.
Well, except for Jared from Subway.
Oh wow, you went there. On that note, Zach, you want to read the next question?
Sure, yeah, I'm sure Brian will love being in that company. Ryan Regal's known Lies of P advocate says, "What is your biggest disappointment this year? What I mean is, you couldn't wait for a particular game. When you finally were able to play it, you were let down. For me, that was Alan Wake 2. I love the original and really liked the remaster, but after playing through Alan Wake 2, I was very disappointed. It felt too slow and boring compared to the original. I'll give you slow, but boring."
It was slow. I felt the gameplay was not fun for me. Like, and you're talking, Brian is a dude that is like likes the hardcore Souls-like games, right?
Right.
He's all about that gameplay, and this is not
yeah.
anywhere near that. So
I can understand that.
Yeah, this is an easy answer for me. Atomic Heart.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was this year.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Like the first, 45 minutes were interesting to me.
Yeah.
But after that, I'm like, I don't like it.
I had no desire to play it. I think once I hit that horny machine,
it's when you get the horny machine, that's when it all goes downhill.
I just stopped caring.
Because that's when I stopped too.
It was giving me straight up BioShock vibes, and then it just fizzled out.
Yeah. Is that when CB quit as well, or did he actually play more?
I don't remember if CB played that one or not, but none of us.
I know he did, because he was
the
one that told us about the vending machine.
Oh, did he? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What was yours, Zach?
Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, that's mine as well. My actual official answer. Ansel? Why can I not speak today?
You guys are not selling me on that game, because you say it's like super fun to play. But
it's just the story is a letdown.
Oh, it's bad. Too bad.
From the first title.
Yeah, a marked step down. The gameplay is great. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fun to play. It's just the story doesn't hit the same.
Right. And it was and the story was too stretched out as well. Mm-hmm. It felt like 12 hours of story put into a 35-hour game. So it was a bad story and poorly delivered at that.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, it was sure fun to jump around.
It was.
And that cool, and your home, that planet you hang out on all the time is cool, because it was basically
that was cool.
Planet.
I forgot what the name of the planet is.
Rainbow's Reach, I think, is the town.
Yeah.
Kobo,
yeah.
Yeah. Rainbow's Reach, that was cool. Anyway, Alan Wake 2 is great.
Yeah,
Brian?
Loved it.
The combat in the first Alan Wake is much better. Much better. I'll give you that.
I did not. Yeah. The combat, I mean, again, I was playing it on easy, so it just was more of a annoyance than anything, but I couldn't imagine playing that, like, because I didn't know which ones I had to kill and which ones I didn't.
Yeah, well, I think I mentioned that in my review. Like, I just felt a lot of the combat was more annoying than it was engaging.
Yeah.
Especially with the teleporting enemies and the wolves who just dance around you. You just have to wait for them, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that are basically like the Flash, I hated those.
Yeah,
I'm like, just stand still.
But luckily, there was not a lot of combat in the game. That's not what the game was about, really.
Let's go to the next one. Over on Discord, TJ Kitsune says, worst box art you've ever seen and best disc art you've ever seen. It's really hard to top the original Mega Man box art for me.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's like a low-hanging fruit, easy answer, right? But
right, almost too easy. The one I always think about, maybe it's more disappointing, but the worst box art I hate is the BioShock Infinite box art.
Unless you flip over the
sure,
flipping it over is cool, but that's
the
not
standard box art of Booker DeWitt in the cool guy hero pose with the shotgun slung over his shoulder. I'm like, did the marketing team know what game this was? It's not representative of Bioshock Infinite or even Booker at all. It's just terrible. I hate it. It drives me nuts.
Wasn't that the era of like that was all the box art covers?
Yeah, where it's like the cool protagonist box art. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucked. What about you, Alyssa? For worst box art?
I really struggled. I even went through my physical game collection and I don't hate any of the box art, so I don't think I have an answer because I can't really remember what the box art looked like on my uncle's games from back in the day. I even tried to look online, and some of the ones that were listed online as being the worst, I'm like, that's pretty.
No.
So, like, they were putting Okami as the ugliest. I'm like, that's pretty. At least to me, it is.
I mean, outside of the Wii one where it had the IGN watermark on it.
Yeah, they didn't have that one on the website. It was the remastered one. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Who put this list together?
They're crazy. The Ico on PS2 is another great example of terrible box art.
Okay. I'll go with that one because I did play that game, and I'm not crazy about the box art, so I'll just go with that one.
It's like a weird realistic CG render of Ico, even though that's not the art style of the game at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the Game of the Year edition of
Arkham City?
Arkham City?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Okay, that was atrocious. That was atrocious.
They use every square centimeter of real estate on the cover to put in pull quotes of it getting 10s out of 10.
Right.
Oh my god, dude, that was so bad. You couldn't even see Batman, really.
And it was kind of a cool concept of what, Batman, like all in black and white except for the red blood that he was like wiping off on his mouth. That was kind of a cool thing to do, but then it was just like
it didn't need all the blurbs on it.
I half expected there to be a yellow Y button to like purchase additional content or something. It was
well, that was only the Game of the Year edition, luckily.
Right. There was a Bust-A-Move game. There's two Bust-A-Move games that had terrible box art. One was like just a baby blowing a bubble with.
Yeah, I remember that. Iconic.
And then there was another one where there was a guy that had his eyes propped open with matchsticks.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And it was like this game is so addicting you have to force keep your eyes open or whatever. Like
you have to Clockwork Orange yourself.
Yeah, right. That was pretty awful. What about best disc art?
Again, this is not a great question for me.
The Blood War one is funny because it's the hole is where the guy's butt is. So if you put your two fingers next to each other and put them behind the disc, you make a little butt cheeks.
Well, there's a similar one for I don't know how to pronounce this. One Chinabra Z2 Chaos.
Oh, with the vagina.
Yes.
Or her vagina is where the hole is. It's something else.
The Resistance 3 disc was pretty cool. It looked like a record.
Oh, the collector's edition one?
Yeah, that looked pretty sweet. I like that one a lot.
The Saw game that I just replayed on PS3, that one's cool because it's just a saw blade.
Yep.
Oh, that is awesome.
So that's a nice one.
Oh, I thought of one. The Deadpool game that came out on 360. It was pancakes with a pat of butter and maple syrup on it.
Oh, okay.
Pretty cool.
This one's not a game, but I remember the disc for a certain Bloodhound Gang album. You guys know what I'm talking about. I can't even say the name of the album on here, but it was Hooray for Something. And the disc was one of the somethings. But anyway.
Oh, wow. That's awfully daring. Parental advisory indeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that the disc arts that always come to mind, though, for me are the PS1 Square Enix ones, particularly the Final Fantasy games, where it's just the character art. But sometimes they would be like frosted.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a very cool, sleek look. And it was cool because you immediately knew, like, oh, that's a Squaresoft game.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And that was very cool. So shout out to that
Man.
PS1.
I miss feeling that excited for stories. Like I just could not wait to see what was going to be presented to me in a Final Fantasy game. And that artwork,
old, right?
I know, dude.
Just too old. And we know what to expect, really. I guess video games were zanier back then.
Yeah. All right, Alyssa, you're up.
Mark Szymanski asks, "What is your favorite animated Disney film?"
He put that in there strictly because Zach and I's back and forth on Discord about Zach's
right.
like,
Yeah, Scott Scott did not like me suggesting that people could ask questions that were not video game related, because he doesn't like when podcasts go off topic, apparently.
It's not that I don't like it, it's that I worry that other people don't. So, but apparently
Well, that's
people
some of my
like it.
favorite-
So,
That's some of my favorite stuff when I'm listening to a podcast.
I like hearing
Yeah.
people talk about different interests and stuff.
As long as it's not 50 minutes at the top about the TV shows
Yeah.
they were talking, and it's a PlayStation, podcast, that
Oh,
would be
yeah.
infuriating. Yes, but brief little tangents are fine.
yeah,
Also, the best Disney animated movie, Aladdin.
that's mine as well.
Wow,
Okay,
Also,
I
the
do love
hottest,
Aladdin.
Disney princess.
that was my first crush.
I mean,
oh my god.
my first cartoon crush was Aladdin himself.
Oh,
Wow.
But actually, The Little Mermaid is my favorite because that was my favorite as a kid.
I really like
I-
The Little Mermaid too. The music is
love that music.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
I also like Prince Eric.
Body language. Ursula, sorry.
Did you see the remake?
I have
No.
not watched the remake because I'm afraid it'll ruin my
It's not-
childhood.
There's a couple. They have a couple new songs that don't even need to be in there, and I don't know. King Trident is just weird.
Yeah.
But Haley, is it Haley Berry? Is that her name?
Holly Bailey.
Yeah,
Halle
Halle
Bailey?
Bailey.
I can never
Yeah.
remember which, because I always want to say Halle Berry, but I know that's
Yeah.
not. But she's great. She's fantastic. She's really good.
The only live action remake I saw was Aladdin because of how much I love it. And I knew they messed up right away because they made Jafar hot.
Yeah,
That's true.
And
They did.
That's a pretty immediate failing.
Yeah.
I
I thought the songs were done well though.
And they didn't have the two best parts of the movie, which is a snake am I? I'll show you how snake-like I can be. And he turns into a giant snake, which is great.
Mhm.
And then, of course, Jasmine, when she puts on this, she's got the dress that Jafar dressed her in when she's trying to distract him. And she's like, your beard is so twisted. Like, oh my God. Something awakened within me when I was 4 years old, I'll tell you what.
That is the day Zack became a man.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, so that wasn't in the live action movie. I was like, well, this is a write-off. Obviously, we don't need this movie.
Yeah, that's that and the Lion King are ones, and Little Mermaid are just one time. I would just rather go back and watch the original. Beauty and the Beast was actually pretty solid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
Didn't see that.
That one
I
was
watched
good.
Cinderella, and I actually did enjoy that one. The live action.
I saw that one, but it's easily forgettable for me. But yeah, as far as animated, Aladdin always takes the cake for me. I do have a soft spot in my heart for The Rescuers Down Under, though. I really like that one. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
I did as a kid. It wasn't one of my favorites though. I was
okay.
very much into the princess movies when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I really loved Mulan as well.
Okay. I didn't see that one until I was an
yeah.
adult.
I went to the theater to watch that one.
Oh,
I
yeah?
remember my dad took me.
Nice. Who's up?
Hold on. That's a good who is up?
Was that, did Alyssa
I
you
think
read
it's
the
your
last one?
yeah, I think it's Zach's turn.
Zach.
Brandon Lloyd writes in, have you ever had a porch pirate steal any video game stuff? I can answer this quickly. I've never had a house. So no. And in my anecdotal experience, no one really ever steals anything from a mailroom in an apartment because it would just, you're kind of all in it together, you know?
Yeah.
If one person's thing gets stolen, it kind of opens the floodgates and nobody wants their own stuff stolen. So it's sort of a mutually assured destruction in that way.
That makes sense. I don't think I have either, actually. I don't think I've even had a non-video game thing stolen off my porch. I don't. And I'm surprised I haven't.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you, Alyssa?
No. My neighborhood has mostly always been older people. Nowadays there are some relatively younger, well, not relatively younger, probably in their 40s, 50s. But no one messes with anyone here. Like, it's just like we all keep to ourselves.
Right.
So no one's going to each other's houses. We're not talking to each other. It's just like, okay, hey neighbor, hi.
I also live on a dead-end street, so that helps me don't get as much traffic, and I also make a point of trying to make friends with my neighbors, not necessarily like close friends, but, we know each other on a first-name basis, and I go out of my way to do nice things, like I'll go snowblow their driveway when I'm doing mine, you know what I mean? Just, if I see them shoveling. That's the thing, like when I was a kid, I would be like shoveling my driveway, like, man, I wish that dude in the snowblower would just come over here. It would take him 10 minutes to run that snowblower across my thing. So I do that for the neighbors now and kind of don't make any enemies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think Porch Pirates. I mean, I'm sure it's happened to people listening, but I think it's one of those things where because of the internet, we think it's a lot worse than it is. But like, I had a PS4 delivered, and they didn't even put it in a box. It was just a PS4 with a shipping label on it, and it was there when I got home after work.
Also, Ring cameras are a thing now.
Yeah,
like
I do hate those.
You hate Ring cameras?
Yeah, why is everyone okay with surveilling their neighborhood and giving all the information to a corporation? It's very weird. It's very scary.
It's also very convenient to not have to answer the door and
but there are so many, like, what you could just buy a camera and set up yourself. You know, you don't have to have the Ring.
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't even have a clue how to set up a camera and
wouldn't either.
Rig it so that nobody could take it down. Like, it's all done very well.
Well, I'll let everybody know. You ever want to rob me? There will never be a Ring camera.
There you go.
Know that. I would never do that. I would never surveil everybody passing my house. That's a terrible thing to do.
Well, I do not have a Ring camera, but I'm always at home. If you ever try to rob me, I'll just scream. I'll call the neighbor. He's a police officer.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, they're all buds. You're all buds with your neighbors. You're good.
I try to befriend his dog, so he might not like that.
No.
Next question says, who was your favorite dad and mother in video games? They don't have to be from the same game. I mean,
this one's tricky.
Dead silence.
The one that comes to mind for me is, and it's only like in the opening sequence, and one that just is Chrono Trigger. You know, wake up Chrono, and she's just so.
Oh yeah.
You know, good morning. You get to go to the festival today. Like that one stands out. I don't know if you would consider him a father, but he's a father figure. Lee from The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
Would
sure.
Stands out to me.
You see, I can think of plenty of games where you are a dad, obviously. There's a whole sad dad genre. But I'm struggling to think of like a video game where you play as a character and their parents are involved.
Right. God of War.
Zeus talking about? Or
well, no, I mean...
and
Kratos and Atreyu. Atreus.
Yeah.
Atreyu.
Yeah.
To me, yeah, I don't know, because you play so much of those games as Kratos. To me, I'm thinking it isn't. It's not what I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to think of where the primary character of a story in a video game has a mom or dad that you would consider loving or interesting. The only ones I can think of are as the optional perk in Starfield.
Oh yeah, dude, I've heard about that. That's amazing.
That's the only thing I can think of. Like, otherwise, it's, like Tidus, he hates his dad, Jicht. He's a terrible guy. Or, plenty of bad guy fathers and plenty of games where you play as the dad character.
Play as the kid where the parent plays a prominent role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't really think of that.
Yeah, I can't think of any parents either. I mean, I thought of Pokemon, but it's your mom just is like, okay, right. You're going to be a trainer. Bye.
That's like Chrono Trigger, right? Where it's just, hey, good job. Hey, good. My son is 10 anyway. Go on an adventure all across the
He's going to go across the whole entire country, but I'm not going to worry about him at all. Goodbye.
Yeah. So she's cool.
Yeah.
we need more moms like that.
All right, Alyssa, next question is you.
Okay. CJ Moore writes, you're living in a dystopian future. Overnight society has collapsed, and 90% of the population, as far as you know, is completely wiped out. Example, Last Man on Earth, I Am Legend, etc. You get it. A. Do you survive? B. Where do you hole up, or do you roam for resources? And C. What becomes your obsession to do or repossess from before times? Example, Woody Harrelson's Twinkies from Zombieland.
This is a pretty great question, actually.
Well, it's particularly the obsession part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Zach?
Me? I think I survive. I know that's obviously narcissistic in some way. But I've always thought a good survival strategy would be some kind of apartment building, and you make sure you take a sledgehammer, you take out all the stairs, so that way you can't go up and down the flights of stairs, and then the only way in and out would be a rope ladder that you have.
Oh, that's what
So you
video
can-
games have taught us.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, some kind of rope or ladder that you take out the window when you leave, and then you can go back up it. I guess you have the small possibility of someone else coming in while you're gone, but I feel like the odds are a lot slimmer of that than you're going to bed and somebody can sneak up the stairs. But if there are no stairs, I think you have an advantage there. And if it's a zombie apocalypse style deal, zombies can't climb ropes. You're good to go there.
They could in some of the like Day of the Dead, didn't they? Weren't they starting to get smart?
Day of the Dead is right years into the apocalypse,
Yeah.
I guess.
That's true.
So I think I do. I don't need a lot of socialization to survive, so I don't think I'm going to go crazy. As for my obsession, I'm probably breaking everybody's house and just stealing every comic book I see.
Just
Yeah,
comic book.
when
You're gonna loot stores.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, everybody I run into, like, hey man, have you seen Action Comics 1?
You're like, what?
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Or
How about-
something. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Anyway.
how about you, Alyssa?
As for surviving, probably no. I don't have that strong of a will to fight, so
Yeah.
I'd probably just be like, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice myself for my friends.
Aw.
Where would I hold up? I was going to say a mall, but I've seen Dawn of the Dead. That did not go well.
It would have gone well.
So
it didn't go well twice, right?
Yeah.
In the
So,
first
like
and
Zack
the-
said, I'm thinking about this movie. I don't know if you guys watched it. It's called #Alive. Great Korean movie on Netflix. About the zombie apocalypse. The guy just stays in his apartment. I'm like, you know what? I would just stay in my house. Just hang out until the inevitable happens. And what becomes my obsession? Well, I mean, I'm already obsessed with a lot of stuff, but I'd probably go around stealing people's books because I'm gonna need some entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's escapism before I croak eventually, because there's no way I'm surviving.
There you go. I would survive mostly because of where I would hole up. I have a friend who will remain nameless that is stockpiled to the gills with firearms.
Yeah.
Like I'm not
CB's house is pretty close.
It's not CV, not CV. But yeah, this friend would not only that, but this particular friend is also a hoarder. So I feel like if I needed anything, it would be there. So I would.
Well, you better hope this friend doesn't go into survival mode and fire at you when they see you.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh no, we have an agreement. I told him something ever happens, I'm coming to your place. He's like, okay. So,
Yeah.
as for my obsession, like, what do I repossess? It reminds me of Fallout. We were talking about Fallout earlier. Remember, like when you find pre-war money, like all the
Yeah.
time. I don't know why, but I always collected it. It was worthless. I think that was kind of the point that they let you do it. Is like, you're so used to collecting money in games, and then you're collecting it and it does nothing. And I just stockpiled it. Like, I don't know. So that would be kind of a fun thing to do. Just like stockpile currency, like in Fallout.
Sure.
Like maybe
about
someday
a-
it's actually going to be worth something
A stockpile of vintage Playboy magazines for the articles, of course.
for the article. Yeah.
I need reading material.
I was trying to think of like a food, but I can't think of. I mean, the thing with Twinkies is that they like supposedly have like a forever shelf life, right? That was the joke.
Yeah.
It was funny when he opened a Hostess truck and it was full of snowballs. That was
Yeah.
funny. That was a
I
good
was
movie.
gonna say, I don't have anything like that in that preservative world.
Yeah,
I like Big Texas cinnamon roll, I guess.
Big Texas cinnamon roll.
Yeah. Basically a cinnamon roll version of a, Hostess snack.
I mean, mine would probably be like gummy bears or something. I feel like those would last for a long time.
Oh yeah, what about Airheads, right? I love Airheads, dude.
Airheads.
That's the best candy.
Those are
That's
good.
good.
I
Comics are out,
Yeah.
Airheads are in. I'm getting all the Airheads. Those can't go bad, right? They're just pressed sugar.
I would think so. I prefer Laffy Taffy though.
I almost cussed on this podcast. You are out of your mind. Airheads are the best.
Ah,
I do like an airhead. Not a person. Candy.
well, you like us.
You're
Yeah,
not
go for
airhead.
it.
All right, that was a great question, CJ. Thank you so much. Zach, are
Scott
you?
would be a watermelon flavored Airhead for sure.
What flavor would that be? Now I'm curious.
Cherry.
Yeah. Similar, right?
I like both of those. I'm good with both answers.
Paul Hine writes in, if you could have any classic vintage old system, what would that be? I would love a vintage 46 with sound blaster and VGA monitor to play those classic 90s PC games I grew up with the way God intended. Emulation is great, but it's not the same thing. Bring on the beige boxes.
I'm kind of with Paul on that. I have so many good memories of playing those old LucasArts games on the 486. Yeah. But, man, retro console that I don't have. I don't know if it's considered retro, but I never had a PSP.
Oh, yeah.
Or a Vita. I don't think Vita's necessarily retro. Is it? I don't know.
2012, not yet, right? Isn't 20 years retro?
20, I think, is
believe
the
so. Yeah.
technical cutoff.
Yeah.
That would be cool, but I actually don't have a Famicom. Like not a Nintendo, but an actual Famicom would be fun to add to my collection. Because those played instead of the cartridges like they did in the US, they actually used those discs that came in the little plastic sleeves. That'd be cool. So yeah, plus like Legend of Zelda actually had a speaker on the controller for you could blow into the controller to attack the Pole's voice.
That's cool.
Something that we didn't get here. How about you guys?
I don't really desire to have any classic or retro consoles. I don't know. Just not my forte.
There's like Xbox 360.
I'd say
I used to have one of those. I gave it to my uncle.
Yeah.
Retro in 2 years.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Boy, part of me wants to say the N-Gage for the jokes because I never had one. But I mean, I'm kind of with Alyssa. There's not a lot of old consoles I want to track down.
So that physical media is just not a thing then, huh? Don't worry about all that physical media. We just emulate.
But thank God it's there if I ever do get interested.
Yeah.
But the first answer that came to mind, and it's not that old, so I feel like you're gonna laugh at me, Scott. But it would just be the Dreamcast.
No, yeah,
because
it's a great console.
Because I had so many fond memories of it, and I don't have one right now. And I know it's very possible to get one. Right, they're not very expensive or anything. But I think if I was gonna commit to one and like really like get an old CRT or something on it, would be amazing to do and just play it, as God intended, as Paul said. And Dreamcast, I think, would be a very fun console to own the whole library of because there are just so many wacky, weird games.
There was a game on Dreamcast I loved called Incoming. You remember that game?
I know I don't.
Incoming was just straight up just a target reticle game. That's all it was. It was stuff coming at you, and you were just shooting it with a cursor. Like you would move the cursor around on the screen and do it. I don't know why. I loved turret games when I was a kid, and that game was all that. I loved turret sections in games. And that game was nothing but a turret sequence for the entire game, and I loved it.
So it worked for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, the VMU is so cool. There's this horror game called Illbleed I really want to play because it just looks so ridiculous. But it's only on Dreamcast, and I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere.
Was that where the Hydro Thunder games first came out? Hydro Thunder and Four Wheel Thunder?
That sounds possible.
I know they came to Xbox Arcade eventually, but I feel like that's where they start. Maybe I'm wrong.
Remember Sonic Shuffle on the Dreamcast?
No.
It was Sonic's Mario Party ripoff.
Oh, really? I remember Sonic Adventure. That was Dreamcast.
Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Shenmue 1 and 2.
Never played
Omicron, The Nomad's Soul, co-starring David Bowie.
Crazy Taxi?
Yeah.
Crazy Taxi, yeah. Yeah. Dreamcast. Dreamcast my answer. You know what? I'm confident now. Dreamcast.
Yeah.
I no longer feel shame.
Space something 5?
Space Channel 5?
Space Channel 5, was that on there?
Yeah.
And what was the skating game where you spray painted everything?
Jet Grind Radio?
Jet Grind, yeah.
Was that
Jet Grind in America? Yeah, Jet Set Radio.
I couldn't remember if that was exclusive to Dreamcast or not.
But the sequel I know was on Xbox. Jet Set Radio Future.
Yeah, I remember that being on Xbox. Played with my friends a lot, but never played the first one.
My thing with the Dreamcast, though, is I did not like holding that controller. That was not a comfortable controller at all.
I was comfortable with the controller.
Really?
Yeah.
The cable it came out of the wrong end.
That does suck. That would be hard to get used to in the modern era for sure.
Yeah.
But you could get over it. It's just a mental thing.
Maybe.
I guess you can't rest on your lap the same way you could with a modern controller.
You have a cord sticking up. It was so weird.
Yeah, just poking in your bits.
Yeah. Was there not like a Wavebird version of a controller for the Dreamcast? Because the Wavebird
surely there is by now, right? Some third party person whipping that up.
All right, the last question comes on Twitter, and it comes from Carlos Fontes at the Carlos Fontes. He says, "This is in no way an attempt to stir up console war nonsense, but how do you think the gaming landscape would look now if Xbox hadn't lost so much momentum with the Xbox One?" That's an interesting concept. I mean, the easy answer would be like it would be a lot more competitive, but I think some people forget that Xbox and PlayStation are pretty much equally competitive in the States.
Mhm.
You know, it's just overseas that that Japan has such a bigger stronghold. Although I still feel like more people I know play on PlayStation than Xbox here. But I still think PlayStation would have come out further ahead just because it was time. You know, we talk about it always going back and forth. Somebody's going to always be on top, and it's PlayStation's turn right now. They made a lot better decisions along the way. What do you guys think?
The PS4 was their turn. This would be when it should have flipped back, but it was so catastrophic, the Xbox One, that there was no flipping back.
Yeah.
Quick shout out, Carlos Fontes, one of the nicest people on Twitter ever.
He is.
Oh yeah.
Awesome
he's
dude.
Awesome. He's great. But I think it would be a much more interesting landscape now, because I think if the Xbox One had maintained the 360's momentum and kept building and stuff, and so you have a much tighter race overall, the Xbox One and PS4. I still think the PS4 comes out on top. Even if Xbox let you share your games, PS4 I think still would have won, almost through exclusives alone. Because I think also, Xbox One lost everybody up front because of the ridiculous stuff they were trying to pull, but they didn't gain any momentum because they didn't put out any exclusives really during that whole generation,
and they're still not.
You're right.
Yeah.
So it's that, I think that's doing more damage than almost anything else. But yeah, if they hadn't lost their momentum, so they probably be in a better position going into the PS5 and Series generation.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'd be having a much more interesting landscape. I don't think you would have as many companies doing third-party exclusives for PlayStation because it's just so easy for them. You know, like Final Fantasy 16. You know, it's an easy decision to take that exclusivity money from Sony, because what are you going to sell? 200,000 copies on Xbox anyway?
Right.
You know, if the race is tighter, then it's maybe on both, and that kind of helps level the playing field across the board over time.
What do you think, Alyssa?
I mean, I don't have much of an opinion that differs from either of you. I think, Xbox lost the exclusivity game because we're just not seeing a ton of exclusives ever since Xbox One to now on the Xbox side. But I do think they're pretty much equal in the States, like Scott said. I really don't have much to add.
All right. It's pretty impressive to own 30 studios and you put out like 2 exclusives a year.
Yeah.
That's
It's
true.
It's really hard to be an Xbox fan. You know,
Yeah.
when I mean, I play on there anyway just because of the achievements, right? And I just like the controller. Well, actually, I do like the PS5 controller quite a bit.
Well, man, and that's Phil Spencer's argument, is that you didn't get anybody into the ecosystem with the Xbox One, so people aren't playing because their achievements are over here,
Mm-hmm.
And digital libraries, of course, are a big deal because people think they own them even though they don't.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, well, that's going to do it for all of the comments. Thank you to everybody that wrote in. I'm just constantly amazed that that everybody keep doing those each and every month. Thank you so much. It makes for a really fun episode. I love those. We are still trying to figure out what we're going to do for next week's topic, so stay tuned for that. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Thanks so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. This is your first time here. Thanks so much for checking us out. We hope that you'll return. This episode was produced by Kevin Honigford, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. His website is stemagemusic.com, STEMAGE music.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Zach, before we get out of here, do you have any parting words or recommendations for our listeners?
Strong recommendation for Saltburn. I didn't even see a trailer for this movie. I just saw it was the same director as Promising Young Woman and just saw it on a whim. Because Promising Young Woman was so good.
It was amazing.
This movie is crazy, man. There's no way you will see where this movie is going. And it's so intense the whole way through. It's like I was on the edge of my theater seat the whole time. This movie is bananas.
Oh, it's a theater movie. It's something I can stream right now.
Yeah, in theaters. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. One of those old fashioned, you got to go to the movie picture house.
No. I just like I was not
go to the cinema.
I have not heard of this title. That's why I usually am familiar with what's coming out. But
yeah, it's a similar. It's about this kind of outcast kid. He's got a big crush on the popular boy at school, and but he gets into his friend group, throughout the movie, and then he gets invited back to the rich kid's house, and it's basically a castle, and then it's sort of like a gothic mystery from there.
What?
It's like exploring this weird castle, and there's all these strange manipulations. Everyone, because they're all rich people. There's a lot of backstabbing and chicanery going on, and it's just it gets very intense very fast, and you just never know where it's gonna go, and it's pretty crazy, man. Dude, it's wild.
I will check it out. Alyssa, how about you?
Stronger.
Of course, it's a K-drama recommendation because that's all I watch nowadays. Goblin, which a lot of people have already seen this if they're into the K-drama world, but I'm new to it. It's wonderful. Like, every episode is amazing. No boring parts at all, and the setup is this goblin, who's not a typical goblin, like, very handsome goblin, played by Gongyu. He's 939 years old, and he has a sword stuck in his chest through his heart, but only the goblin's bride can see the sword and pull it out and free him from his immortal state. So cuts back to 2017 when this show originally aired, and there's a 19-year-old girl about to be 20 that has been told she's the goblin's bride because she has this mark on her neck, and she finds him one day and she's like, "I'm your bride." And he's like, "No, you're not." So it's just them trying to figure out, is she the bride? But also the Grim Reaper's after her because she was not supposed to have lived. She was supposed to have died because her mom was pregnant and was hit by a car. But then the goblin saved the mother. So she's not supposed to be alive. So the Grim Reaper's after her. But then the Grim Reaper and the goblin live together in a house. And it's just, oh my gosh. It's chaos, but it's hilarious. It's sad. Like, I love every second of the show. I'm obsessed.
Huh.
There's even some fantasy moments, historical moments. It's got something for everyone in it. And plus, whole cast, very attractive. Don't know why they had to do that to us, but
it is a K-drama.
That's true. They often do this to us.
They can't help themselves.
So they're like, we gotta make a goblin attractive and the Grim Reaper. Gotta be handsome.
Well, Neil Gaiman made the Grim Reaper attractive back in Sandman.
I still need
decades
to
ago.
But yeah, Goblin's great. It's only on Viki to my knowledge. Viki. I don't know.
Is that a Korean streaming app?
It's Korean, Japanese, and Chinese. So if you're into stuff from those regions, it's a great app. I love it, but very niche.
Nice.
But I'd recommend it if you can find it somewhere.
I also have a film recommendation. And it's an older. I'm not older. It came out last year, but I missed it last year, and I decided to watch it. I sat down and watched the David Harbour, now classic, Violent Night.
Oh, that was fun.
It's a classic, is it?
Oh my goodness! I was not expecting what this movie was. It's seriously, if Die Hard were an actual Christmas movie, like this. This is straight up Die Hard with Santa Claus. Like, it's so over the top. It's ridiculous. It's hilarious. It's cheesy. I absolutely loved it. I feel like I'm gonna watch this one every year now. I really liked it.
Really?
And they got
It's gonna.
Well,
but you hate Die Hard as a Christmas movie.
I'm not. We don't talk about that. But this is not. I'm not watching it for the Christmas spirit. Because it makes sense to watch this one because it's Santa Claus. But they even got Beverly D'Angelo playing a character that is totally against what she played in Christmas Vacation. And I didn't even realize it was her. at first because she's a that was like 30 years ago at this point. But seriously, cannot recommend this movie enough. If you like gore and violence, and if you like David Harbour, you're not going to get much cooler than David Harbour in this. It's great. He's a alcoholic Santa Claus, and they do some fun stuff with the Christmas. Kids believe in Santa, the adults don't. That whole stuff is here. It's a lot of fun. So, all right. Well, until next week, I am Scott Clark with Zack Parkerson. Zack, thanks for being here. And Alyssa White. Thank you for being here, Alyssa. And we are The Gaming Outside. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.